Good evening, everyone. I call this September 30th, 2025 regular meeting of the City Council to order at 6:12. Jeff Bonafede, would you lead us with the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
Okay. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam City Clerk, may we have the roll call, please?
Councilmember Francois.
Here.
Councilmember Keegan.
Here.
Councilmember Jackson.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Detoy.
Here.
Mayor Seaman.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. There is no closed session report for this evening, so do any of my colleagues have any announcements to make this evening? No? Seeing none, I have a few. First of all, this Wednesday, October 1st, stop by Java Man from 7 to 9 a.m. for Coffee with a Cop. And then Carrie and the Prom on Friday, October 10th. The city will host a special 18 and up screening of the horror classic Carrie at the Community Center Theater, the same venue where the scenes from the movies was shot. The event will begin with a 7 p.m. reception, including a 70s-themed prom and tour of local filming locations, followed by the film screening at 8:30 p.m. Tickets are $10 online or at the door, and we hope to see you there. And by the way, please, during the entire event, nobody do anything to make Carrie angry, okay? That would be tragic and ruin a wonderful event. Also, we have Pumpkins in the Park. On Saturday, October 11th, Friends of the Park will host Pumpkins in the Park from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Edith Roadaway Friendship Park at 350 Prospect Avenue. Families are welcome to enjoy a costume contest, face painting, a photo booth, games, and a pumpkin decorating contest. All right, Madam City Clerk, the approval of the agenda.
Motion approved, Mr. Mayor.
We have a motion to approve. A second?
Second.
Motion is second. Good. Madam City Clerk, would you please open the voting?
Voting is now open.
Yes.
Motion carries unanimously.
Good. Okay, thank you. Move on to item 7. Madam City Clerk, proclamations.
Item 7A, recognizing community leaders Kathy Knoll and Jeff Bonafede.
Would Kathy and Jeff please come up to the podium? I would like to read this to you from here, if you don't mind first. This is a certificate of recognition issued to Kathy Knoll and Jeff Bonafede. Hermosa Beach residents and business owners, Kathy Knoll and Jeff Bonafede, have rendered service to the community, which deserve special recognition as community champions. And whereas Kathy and Jeff have poured their energy, passion, and resources into Hermosa Beach as co-founders of Uncorked and The Deck, they have built not just successful businesses, but also a true sense of community by continually reinvesting in the place they call home. And whereas Kathy and Jeff has given generously of their time and resources to support local causes, including providing wine and beer for countless community events, such as the Hermosa Beach Museum Gala fundraiser, they are community-minded entrepreneurs who make Hermosa Beach stronger, more welcoming, and more vibrant. Now, therefore, I, Rob Seaman, Mayor of the City of Hermosa Beach, on behalf of the entire City Council, do hereby tender this certificate of recognition to Kathy Knoll and Jeff Bonafede, our sincerest thanks and appreciation for their extraordinary contributions to the economic vitality, cultural life, and community spirit of our city. Let me come down.
That's awesome. Thank you.
I want to personally thank both of you for everything you've done for our city. It's an honor to get one of these and to give it to you. I'm so happy to be here today with you both. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Your certificate. Congratulations.
I guess, yes, first of all, I want to thank Elka, because I guess she's the one that put us up for all this, so appreciate that, and it is really nice to be recognized, and we love this community so much. And I do want to sing the praises of the city. As you know, we were previous owners of the deck, and we had the opportunity to reopen it, and city staff made that happen within 2 weeks. It was incredible. Just everyone pulled together, and we were just able to get open before 4th of July, which was our goal. And I just think we have an amazing city and collaborate so well with all our city leaders, and we just love living here and love working here, and we're just so happy.
We're lucky, but it's about the community, and that's really what, first and foremost, for our business. It's really about how we interact and how we are a gathering place and a positive light for the downtown corridor and for the city of Hermosa Beach. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Next, we have item 7B, recognizing Hispanic Heritage Month, September 15, 2025 to October 15, 2025.
Thank you, Madam City Clerk. This is a proclamation for Hispanic Heritage Month. Whereas during National Hispanic Heritage Month, we honor the diverse history and generations of Latinos whose aspirations and achievements have shaped the soul of our nation, and whereas the Hispanic community has helped chart America's course since our start as doctors and engineers, artists and entrepreneurs, and leaders in science, business, labor, government, and military, and across grassroots movements. Their faith and drive has pushed our country to grow, prosper, and pursue its highest ideals. And whereas we salute the vital contributions of more than 62 million Latinos who help make our nation stronger every day. Latino history is American history. It is a story of hard work, family, faith, pride, and possibility. And it is proof that there is nothing we cannot do if we do it together. Now, therefore, I, Rob Seaman, Mayor of the City of Hermosa Beach, on behalf of the entire City Council, do hereby recognize September 15th through October 15th, 2025 as National Hispanic Heritage Month. I call upon community members to observe this month with appropriate ceremonies, activities, and programs that celebrate Hispanic heritage and recognize the impact Hispanic peoples have had on our community. Thank you.
Item 7C, recognizing California Clean Air Day on October 1st, 2025.
Thank you, Madam City Clerk. Proclamation of California Clean Air Day, October 1st, 2025. Whereas on October 1st, 2025, over 1 million people across California will join together to take actions to clean the air we all breathe. And whereas California Clean Air Day is built on the idea that shared experiences unite people to act and to improve our community's health. By joining together for a unified day of action, we can create new habits to clear the air for all members of California's diverse communities. And whereas California has 7 of the top 10 worst cities for air pollution and transportation, it's the #1 source of that pollution. Our purchasing habits, driving behaviors, and our relationship with food all contribute to whether we have clean air or dirty air in our communities. And whereas when it comes to air pollution, we can all do our part. Whether you're an individual, a business, a government agency, or a nonprofit organization, There are things we all can do to improve our air quality and protect our public health. In a state with some of the worst air pollution in the United States, it is imperative that we do so. And now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Rob Seaman, Mayor of the City of Hermosa Beach, California, on behalf of the entire City Council, do hereby recognize October 1st, 2025 as Clean Air Day in Hermosa Beach. On this day, we encourage all citizens to take the Clean Air Pledge at www.cleanairday.org and commit to doing our part to clean the air through actions big and small. Get involved in Clean Air Day events, and remember that walking or biking to your destination is a true zero emissions option. Thank you all very much. Madam City Clerk.
Next, we have item number 8, public comment. This is the time for members of the public to address the City Council on any items within the council's jurisdiction. Comments are limited to 3 minutes, and we did receive some speaker cards. If you'd like, we can call the first speaker. Starting with Sarah Harper.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council, residents of Hermosa Beach. I'm here to make announcements about our upcoming library programs. First of all, I want to remind everyone that our bookmark contest ends October 18th, so that will be the last day to turn in your entry form, and that is open for students in kindergarten through 12th grade. Also, this Saturday, October 4th, will be the start of the In and Out Cover to Cover Club. So that's where kids ages 5 to 12 have the opportunity to read books and earn a free hamburger or cheeseburger from In and Out. You can sign up at the library starting on Saturday. Also this Saturday, we are having our Rainbow Parenting and Family Program self-portrait art activity at 10:30 a.m. Join us and help your child create a self-portrait using chipboard people cutouts, especially for ages 3 to 5 with a parent or caregiver. Next Wednesday, October 8th, we're having Spooky Slime Time at 3 p.m. It's slime time. Do you know what ingredients create a chemical reaction that forms slime? Join us for a hands-on activity where you play with science and make your own spooky slime for ages 5 to 12. On Saturday, October 11th at 10:30 a.m., we have another Key and Harmony family concert. Key and Harmony is a music program for children and families. With live music, we can create connections with each other and the world around us, especially for ages 0 to 5 with a parent or caregiver, generously sponsored by our Hermosa Beach Friends of the Library. And this Thursday, we have our monthly book club meeting at 10:30 a.m. Join us for a lively discussion of The Demon of Unrest, a saga of hubris, heartbreak, and heroism at the dawn of the Civil War by Eric Larson. Thank you, and I look forward to seeing everyone at the library.
Thank you. Very interesting selections you have there.
Next, we have Jan B.
Hello, I'm here representing the Women's Club of Hermosa Beach, and we had a little angel that showed up earlier and left you all a gift, which includes a cookbook and 2 tickets to the pancake breakfast, even though I know most of you will be there cooking. But I did remind everybody that it is coming up on October 12th. And encourage all of you to announce it and bring people. This is one of our big fundraisers, and the money goes back to scholarships and community events. And it's a fun time, so we encourage you all to be there.
Thank you very much.
Next, we have John H.
My name is John Holloway. Thank you guys for your service to the community and all of our families. I'm wanting to comment on the proposed paid metering of Lot E between 2nd and 3rd Street on PCH, well, near PCH. I live on 3rd Street, and we have 12 parking spaces on our street. And they just demolished one of the last single-family homes and are building a huge apartment complex. Hermosa Motors is also on our street, and they all work outside, and whenever the street sweeper comes by every Wednesday, they take the 4 spots in front, so it kind of leaves the rest of us with 8. So we all use this lot like every day to some extent, especially street sweeping day where we don't have anywhere to go. And it's kind of a pretty big block, not to mention 2nd Street as well, for only 8 parking spaces. So I suppose I'm here asking that the city might reconsider this idea. And that's all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, you have Nancy.
Hi, good evening. I'm often up here complaining or asking for something, and today I just want to say thank you. Thank you first for listening to public comments, including this gentleman, and I feel like someone is going to look into the issue and see if there's something that can be done, and we're grateful for that. You've heard this before, but I want to thank Joseph San Clemente and his team, especially Brandon and Brianna, for pushing our undergrounding on North Hermosa Avenue through to the finish line. Well, the construction isn't done yet, but the hard work of financing it is done. Their diligence, responsiveness, and courtesy were greatly appreciated. While in Public Works, and this is random, thank you to Dennis, last name unknown. We've been dealing with poor to no street sweeping on Palm Drive for years. I met Dennis, and he was on it and got results. Thank you, Dennis. Next, Allison and her team. What can we say? Guillermo has been extremely patient with me in dealing with a personal matter, so thank you, Guillermo. And Allison, I know you and your team worked really hard on the Builder's Remedy project. We didn't always agree, but I truly appreciate the frank and open dialogue. Thank you. Finally, Steve and council. Your leadership is vital to residents regaining trust in your teams and the process, and that we are all in this together to make Hermosa better. Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Rory.
Hey there. So I just wanted to say how important it is in this day and age when there's so many people and so many things that are polarized, that the community, the planning commission, city council, applicant, Allison, everybody came together and got to a meeting of the minds and came to a place that can work together for all. And I'm talking about the project at 3415 Palm. So thank you all for hearing it, us. And if the community is all watching, thank you to the community for speaking up. Your voices were heard, so thank you.
Jeff P.
Good evening, council. Thank you. My name is Jeff Prue. My wife and I own Hi-Fi Espresso, which is a coffee shop at 227 PCH, which therefore I'm here to talk about Lot E off of PCH between 2nd and 3rd. I wasn't sure how deep into the agenda it would go, so I figured I'd speak during public comment. Like John here before me, the lot is very important to a lot of people. When I first saw the public notice and then received it in our mailbox that metered parking might go in, I thought that's an interesting idea, because for years, and we moved in there back in August 2017, so we just celebrated our 8th anniversary last month. I thought that's an interesting idea. That might help solve this problem. I will say, when my wife and I moved in there and chose to go there over anywhere else in the South Bay, we live here locally in Redondo. I've lived all over the South Bay for the last couple of decades. We did so because of that parking lot. There's 25 2-hour free parking spots. And when we moved in there, it was ample parking. We promote this on our website. It says ample parking behind the building. We've talked to the city in the past about having a sign that says parking in rear. so that people know. So we are looked at often, and we do all right, right? We've got like a lot of regulars, people that walk to us, drive to us. We're sort of a destination as we're not like right downtown. But people all the time, friends that I meet, you know, go, well, where are you? You know, because that's a pretty busy stretch of traffic on PCH. So we tell them and they say, you don't have parking. Actually, we do. It's behind the building. So they come and there's no parking. So the first few years that we were there was ample parking. People could pull up and park. And as John mentioned, and not to, you know, call anyone out or single them by name, but Hermosa Motors right on the corner of 3rd and PCH. This is something I've called about a couple dozen times over the last handful of years. Uses on any given day at least a third of those parking spots for their business. And initially I was told you cannot use public parking spaces for your business. I don't know if that's still true. And I know that they have paid parking tickets over the years and said, we'll just pay them. Anyways, long story short, it might be unfavorable for me to say that meters might solve the issue, right? My staff wouldn't want it unless, if it does go through, it would be great for our business and the others in that stretch to have. Sorry, I don't know how long I'm going because it's not, the time's not moving. So, yeah, so anyways, if we solve that problem for a business to use those public spaces for their business, ample parking would come back. People like John who live down 3rd could once again park there. And if it was policed, right, every 2 hours and ticketed, I think it would work better as well. Because right now we have not only that business, but we have residents, we have beachgoers. In the summer, it's ridiculous, and there's 0 parking back there. So, yeah.
Time.
So, all right, thanks.
Thank you.
Quint Carroll.
I'm here for the same Lot E. I'll just keep it simple, but basically we have no parking on 2nd or 3rd Street, and so it's mostly used by residents, and then a lot of people, like, they go to Hi-Fi, which is awesome, and all the other establishments there use it to park. While we have meters like out front of this building, we've got meters all along Ardmore, we've got all these meters along Clark that would be beachgoers or people that typically would be using probably the services in the town more than the residents that use that lot. It just seems like, why are we targeting that lot when there's a lot of other opportunity to put meters elsewhere? I don't want any meters, but if you're going to do it, because you guys are going to do what you want, at least we, the residents up there, would love to get like a resident pass, which is what the people down here get. Maybe it's just good for nighttime or whatever, and it doesn't apply during the day. But with all the single families getting torn down and all the doubles and all the people moving in our particular area, there's just already no parking, and that lot's really utilized by the community a lot to not only service businesses and their employees, but for us at nighttime to park overnight. So it'd be nice if whatever you guys decide, at least the residents could be thought as far as maybe a resident pass or not do anything, just leave it as it is because it works great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mayor, I do not have any other speaker cards.
And do we have anyone online? Oh, one more.
Evening, Council, City Manager, staff. Want to speak about the parking meter and lot increases. Last year, we had a sales tax measure that was estimated to bring in about $3 million to the city. A lot of public education was done around the sales tax measure, flyers to every door, lots of snazzy videos, online ads, and the measure failed. This parking meter increase is expected to generate, according to the staff report, about $3.8 million annually in revenue. Now, there's a couple of key differences. The sales tax would have fallen, according to estimates, about half on Hermosa residents, half on visitors. This says it's going to fall about 90% on visitors, so that would be more favorable for Hermosa residents. But what I think that I'm getting at here is that we need to actually do some education about what this money is for. I think a lot of folks in the community felt last year like there was not a clear understanding of why we need to raise the sales tax, despite the best efforts of I think, the supporters to do that. I myself am, interested in hearing a little bit more about the subcommittee's engagement with the staff on the fiscal issues that the city is having. I know that, we've heard about the challenges that we're expecting with the fire department contract renegotiation. We have the city yard, project that is ongoing that I know we're going to need to finance somehow. We have, a number of other issues that we studied in the Civic Facilities Advisory Group. I need not remind anyone, but I think it would be a good opportunity, not just here tonight, but generally speaking, if this council actually wants to move forward with these fee increases, which would essentially be a quite similar measure to the sales tax increase, to really think about putting out, some more educative comms to the community about what this is for, so that people feel confident that the tax dollars, or in this case, their parking meter fees, are going to responsible uses. I've read the comments that the chamber put together. I think that, some of the concerns around depressing visitation traffic downtown or near other businesses, I understand that. I did looked at a couple of studies on this. There is a little bit of elasticity with regards to demand and parking meter fee increases. They tend to apply usually when the rate is already a little bit higher. There's more elasticity, meaning that less people will want to stay for a longer amount of time if the rates are already higher. If we were going from, say, $5 to $7, that would be something. $2 to $3, we're probably not going to encounter that same problem. But I will say personally, I start to notice that the parking is expensive after $3 on a meter. If the council felt like compromising a little bit, I think 2.75 would be reasonable. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else in council chambers? Madam City Clerk, do we have anyone on Zoom?
We do. Josh Krasnogor, your 3 minutes will begin once you are unmuted and begin speaking.
Greetings. Good evening. At the September 16th Planning Commission meeting, the agenda noticed a 50.5 5-unit project, but the commission instead approved a 35-foot conceptual alternative. The staff report itself made clear that this alternative was not before the commission. That is a violation of the Brown Act, Government Code 54954.2, which requires the agendas clearly describe the item of business so the public has advance notice. The point of the law is to give residents a fair chance to prepare testimony, gather evidence, and participate meaningfully. When the city votes on a different plan than the one noticed, that public right is lost. It's also a violation of CEQA, Code 21080 and 21168.5. Because the exemption was applied only to the 50.5-foot version, no environmental review was done for the 35-foot plan that was approved. In short, the commission approved a project that was never properly noticed, never analyzed, and never legally before them. I asked the city council to investigate this violation and cure it, because how Hermosa conducts its business must follow the law. Proper notice and reviews are technicalities. They are the foundation of public trust. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have Anthony Higgins. Anthony, your 3 minutes will begin once you're unmuted.
Yeah, hello. I want to talk a little bit about the Mayor's Town Hall that's coming up in early October. It's a wonderful opportunity for the people who can attend, to ask questions of the council, the mayor, the council members, if they are there. I don't know. I've heard you can ask questions of staff members, and it's just a great opportunity. The problem is that if you are handicapped or mobility disabled or just scared of catching one of the bugs that are running around, or you're just a busy person and you can't make it down there, not only can you not view a tape of it because no videos are made? You can't participate remotely. And basically, it's being held in the Clark building. We were told we bought this wonderful audiovisual system for the Clark building. Are you telling me that Zoom can't be set up? Why is it that the mobility disabled, seniors who can't drive, busy people can not only not view the video of the town hall where questions are asked and answered, they can't participate in it. They can't view it live. They can't view it after the fact. And frankly, there's no good reason for that. None whatsoever. You need to please find a way to allow remote viewing, record the town hall, and allow the people who can't attend in person an opportunity to participate. Thank you for considering that.
Thank you.
Mayor, we do not have any other virtual hands raised.
All right, then I'll close the public comment and bring it back to city council members for comments. And before I open it to the rest of the council, I would like to make a comment and address it to Mr. Higgins, who just spoke. This town hall meeting, I asked to have it in the Clark building because I thought it would be nice to use our new building. We're all excited about its completion and being available again, and I thought it would be a nice gesture to have it there instead of here in these chambers. I did not realize that the audio-video connection that's there, it does have audio and video there, of course, but the connection to the Wi-Fi and the telephone system and Zoom and all of that was not quite ready yet, and I apologize for that. Had I known that, I might have changed venue and perhaps had it here. I think, as most people know, I have been very much in favor of more community involvement and discussion between us and the people in the city. I was very much pleased that we could go back to 3 minutes in this chamber right now. We've been enjoying it right now. And also having a Zoom connection here at this part of our meeting. I would like to have had it at the town hall meeting also. So let me say this. I'm sorry that we can't do that. It's a technical thing. It's not the fact that we didn't think of it or we didn't pay the money for it or we don't have it. We do. It's just not quite technically ready yet, and there's some glitches in the system which we're working on. So in the meantime, I would like to suggest the best I can offer to Mr. Higgins and anyone else that cannot come to the meeting is please email me personally and with a question that you would like to discuss at the town hall meeting. I will make question cards for you, and we'll at least bring it up at the meeting and discuss it. I know that you won't be able to hear the discussion, and there won't be a recording of it, and I apologize for that, but that's the best I can do for now for this particular town hall meeting. On the next one, perhaps we'll either have it here or make some other arrangements, and we'll see if we can't add Zoom to that meeting also. But for the time being, please email me with any questions you might want to have discussed there, and I will do my best to bring them up at the meeting and see to it that it's covered. My email address is, of course, available on the city website, so please do that. Thank you very much for that information. I appreciate it. And now back to council. Does anyone have any other comments they would like to make? Left and right? None? All right. I will close the council member comments and move on to item number 10, updates from city council ad hoc subcommittees, standing committees, and delegates and alternatives. Do my colleagues have any updates?
I have a few.
Yes? Councilman Francois.
Thank you. Yeah, a few weeks ago I attended the LA County Library Commissioners meeting. I'm a library commissioner on that county commission. Last Saturday I attended the Oktoberfest and volunteered there, and it had a great atmosphere, a good congenial, wonderful community atmosphere at that. And then on September 13th, I attend, along with Mayor Seaman, the Leadership Hermosa Beach orientation, which is always an interesting thing for people to get to know how city government works. And then just today, I attended the groundbreaking of the open space improvement on the corner of Redondo and PCH, right on our border with Redondo. And that's going to turn out to be a wonderful nature park in that big, dusty, old lot that's been there forever. And it hit heart with me because for many years I fought from the beginnings of fighting against the large heart of the city development that could have been constructed there in that spot. Instead, now we're going to have a wonderful nature park there in conjunction with the AES site. So thank you very much.
Thank you. No other comments? All right, we'll move on to the consent calendar, number 11. Is there a motion to approve the consent calendar?
Motion. So moved.
Second. Oh, I'm sorry, who was first? Francois was motion and seconded by Detoy. Thank you. Madam City Clerk, would you please open the voting?
Voting is now open. Councilmember Francois?
Just came up on my screen now, so if you've got it there, we're all set. Yes.
Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you, Madam City Clerk. Item number 12 on our agenda.
Item 12A is being continued to the next City Council meeting on October 14, 2025. And item 12B, introduce an ordinance to amend Hermosa Beach Municipal Code Section 10.36.010 to increase parking meter rates.
Good, thank you. This will be presented by Administrative Services Director Brandon Walker.
Sorry, I was waiting for the presentation to get pulled up. There it is. Good evening, Mayor, Council, and community. Today, we are going to be reviewing a proposal to increase the parking meter rate citywide. Before we get into the details, I just want to give you a quick background, some financial context of what's leading to this decision, this recommendation by staff at this time. This is a slide that was included in the budget workshop of the adoption of the FY26 budget. Essentially, it's forecasting what we see as structural deficits potentially looming over the next 4 to 5 years. A major point of focus here is in FY27-28. As the Community and Council knows, that is when the fire contract with the county and lifeguard contract come up for renegotiation. The current term expires. Right now, it is unknown what that cost increase could be or will be. We've heard rumors that it could be in the significant double digits, up to 25%. Again, we're just starting communication with the county now, so that is a looming fiscal constraint coming down the pipeline. The main immediate needs now, as communicated in the FY26 budget, are CIP projects. There are many funded, unfunded needs coming down the pipeline. As again, the first point I mentioned, the fire and lifeguard contract coming due. The majority of the fiscal constraints we are going to see over the next few years are related to infrastructure. Lot C, the current beach lot, has a need for a significant amount of structural repairs. Half of that is funded this year. There is a large unfunded portion when it comes to structural repairs coming down the pipeline. Also, there's an ongoing citywide CIP to replace the single meters, to swap those out eventually and replace those with multi-space meters, again, for to lower visual blight and obviously to upgrade the technology to allow us to monitor and control parking needs more efficiently. A big looming one is coming down the pipeline also is structural repairs needed at the pier. There was a large structural repair, I want to say 5 to 6 years ago. Joe and his team are currently doing inspections now, working with the contractor, and they'll come to you soon with what we see as significant repairs needed in the coming few years. As mentioned in the FY26 budget too, our ongoing dedicated funding source for paving is below what our ongoing needs are. And I think that's a concern that council expressed during the budget adoption. And also the city yard. I think that we've heard from the community and council, the city yard is a major priority. Staff is focusing our attention. There's an RFQ coming out for an owner's rep. The city yard is a very, very pressing priority. With the city yard, the funding is going to be a critical component of getting this project through successfully. More likely than not, there will have to be some sort of financing need. And with that, there needs to be a dedicated revenue stream to be able to service the debt on this particular project. Let's talk about our revenue base. So out of every dollar, about 40 cents of general fund comes from property tax. This is quite unique to the beach community and Southern California. Our sales tax, if you look at the far right, about 7%, it's quite low when it comes to what's funding our general services that we provide to the community. We are heavily reliant on property tax, which again is a good and a bad thing. It allows us to weather the storm when it does come to recession times or economic downturns. However, not having that income stream from robust economic activity really constrains our funding options when it comes to funding ongoing capital needs. That's why we're focusing on that middle slot right there, which is at 13%. About 10%, about more than 3/4 of that is coming from parking meters. Of roughly a $56 million budget, we get about $5 million every year from parking meters. So let's run a few numbers before we talk about the proposal. Right now, there's about 1,600 meters citywide. As a commenter mentioned during public comment, more than 90% of the transactions are made by those that are non-Hermosa Beach residents. So again, people that are coming down to the beach, coming down on Pier Avenue and Hermosa Avenue, those over 90% are coming from people outside of the city. 90% of the transactions happen during, we call the day period. So right now there's a tiered structure. From 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., it's $2 an hour. From afterwards till 8 p.m., it's $2.50. So over 90% of the transactions happen during the daytime. Again, as I mentioned, we receive about $5 million annually from meter operations. This is on-street and the beach lot meters. About 2/3 of that is coming from the on-street meters. Just a reference point, the average essentially meter fare or trip booked on street meters is about an hour and a half. At the beach slots, it's about 2 hours and 15 minutes. And speaking of the beach slots, we get about a third of our revenue from those beach lots. Just for frame of reference, we'll go over the proposals in a bit. We are forecasting to receive an additional $375,000 a year with each 25-cent per hour increase when considering the meter rates. So something to keep in mind if you're looking to scale up or scale down staff's proposals. So sorry for the small font, but essentially what this map is showing on the far right is where our current meter infrastructure is right now. The blue dots along Hermosa Avenue show where the existing meters are at, obviously extends up through Upper Pier Avenue. And again, in blue on the far left are our current, we call beach lots, the A, B, C, and D, which are currently metered. Lot E will be a consideration of the next item. Essentially shows you where the meters are lined now. The table on the far left gives you essentially the last 25-year history of what we've done with meters. In 2001, there was an increase. 2 more years later, up to $1. Another 7 years, another subsequent 6 years. And the last increase for our current rates right now was approved by council in 2023, getting us to our current meter rates of $2 an hour during the day and that $2.50 again during the night. Again, 90% of the transactions happening during that 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. time frame. So point of reference, what do our rates look like compared to other agencies in the neighboring region? It fluctuates. I think you've seen a lot of agencies do the 2-tiered structure, either daytime, off-peak, on-peak, or essentially city streets or beach lots, like our neighbors up the street, Manhattan Beach, which essentially has $2.50 an hour for city streets and $3.50 for the beach lot pricing. And our current pricing is there at $2 during the day rate and $2.50 during the quote-unquote nighttime rate. Point of reference too for Laguna Beach, the cap at $6. Their council last week actually is considering a proposal, actually initially approved it, of raising it to $7 an hour at the beach lots for next fiscal year, with a 5-year plan to get it up to $10 by 2030. So you're seeing quite a fluctuation of what different cities along coast are doing, but I think Laguna Beach has been the most aggressive when it comes to trying to capitalize on their parking city assets. So again, the context of this proposal, staff met with the Finance Subcommittee on August 12th to essentially review these first few slides, to look at our fiscal outlook over the next 5 years, recognize that we have a growing list of capital needs that need funding that are immediate in nature. Obviously, looking at the FY27 as that really critical point when the contracts from the county do come due up for negotiation. And looking at potential revenue options, I think with the failed sales tax measure, the city is looking at different alternatives to increase existing revenue streams. Again, this proposal is coming out of the fact that a majority of these increase would be borne by non-Hermosa Beach residents. So the proposal coming out of the committee is to increase the on-street hourly rate, a flat all-day rate of $3 an hour, and then increasing the beach slots. The beach slots would be lots A, B, and C, and only A, B, and C only in the proposal to $5 an hour. So with that concludes my presentation. Happy to answer any questions and further discussion with the council.
Thank you. Questions of staff? Councilman DeToy.
Thank you, Brendan. Do we have the technology yet to do surge pricing or kind of live pricing based on demand, weekends, holidays, et cetera, or are we not there yet with technology?
Not there yet, but very soon. I think the two big caveats are ALPR and also the replacement of the multi-space meters. Again, kind of a chicken and egg thing, but staff has plans to roll out APR very soon, by the end of this calendar year. I think the biggest constraint, which we're going to come forward with in the next few council meetings, is replacing the multi-space meter machines. The technology is just not there. So currently, right now, we do not have the capability to do dynamic surge pricing.
Dynamic, there we go.
But I think that we're coming forward very soon with the proposed improvement of the machines to be able to do that, which is something you've seen up and down the state, across the country, of that dynamic surge pricing is a tool that's very, very useful. So short answer, it's coming soon.
Okay. And then is there any way to earmark these, if we do decide tonight to raise funds, earmark them towards CIPs, or they have to go to road repaving projects, or, whatever we decide?
If council deems it so, yes, we will.
Thank you. All my questions.
A follow-up question to that, if you don't mind. So we're already planning on installing the automatic meters, the license plate reader meters.
Correct. It'll be
throughout the city.
It'll be slow. I think we're going to do initial enforcement along Pier Avenue. I think it'll be a rollout.
Along Pier Avenue first?
I believe so, yeah.
And then Hermosa Avenue?
Yes. We're getting the technology. So the one caveat now, it's supply chain issue, is we have the ALPR technology currently in-house. It's outfitting the 2 police vehicles that are on back order. So that should be done hopefully by December. So that's when the patrolling with ALPR will begin, by the end of this calendar year.
So these proposed increases now are based on the existing meters we have?
That's correct.
But by December, we're going to be replacing them all?
No, not the individual space meters. So essentially, the first rollout is the existing multi-space meters in the beach slots, is upgrading, essentially replacing those machines with better technology, better machines. Mm-hmm. I think the long-term goal, as I mentioned, is to eventually replace the single pole meters, starting with Pier Avenue, and swapping those out for multi-space meters. That's almost 2 different projects.
So in the lots, the new system that will be installed then, when will that be completed?
It'll be essentially replacing machines, so probably early 2026.
And we'll have with those new machines in the lots, the big lots, that we will be able to adjust the rates for different sets of hours and different lots and so on and so forth.
That's correct. Right now, we can do it essentially, it's set one time. So we're able to accommodate the current structure, which is as up until 8 p.m., it's a rate, and afterwards, it's a rate. I think Councilmember or Mayor Pro Tem Dito is talking about is doing dynamic pricing, perhaps by month, which some cities do during the intense beach season, by hours. Some cities may even get sophisticated enough to know by capacity. If the lot's at capacity, obviously charging quote unquote surge pricing for those lots. That technology is not currently there, but we want to at least lay that framework there to have that in place for council to make that decision if they so choose.
Right. So I understand it's 2 separate systems, but for the big lots, that system will be installed by when?
The plan is by early 2026, but we can make these changes if so adopted today immediately.
Okay, but the machines for the lots will be early 2026?
That's the tentative plan right now.
January, February, first quarter, let's say?
There we go. I like that first quarter.
And the meters throughout the rest of the streets will be when?
In the Public Works, I think the initial plan is to roll out through Upper Pier Avenue.
Hi, Senior Management Analyst Ken Bales. Yeah, so we're CIP 113 currently has Pier Avenue and Lot D scheduled. We should be working on that towards the tail end of the fiscal year. So that'll be replacing all the meters on Pier and all the meters at Lot D as well with multi-space meters.
By when?
That will be like towards the end of the fiscal year. So probably like June, July, into the next fiscal year. So
Of next year, of course, yeah.
yeah.
Okay. All right, so we're proposing these changes now, straight across the board from $2 to $3 and from $2.50 to $5 for now, and then next year in the first quarter, and then by June and July, the rest of it comes along, and then so by the middle of next year, we'll have new machines, new meters, new everything, and a way of changing the rates again by perhaps day and night, or perhaps seasonal, and so on.
If council so chooses, I think right now there is no plan at the staff level to come back with another proposal mid-year. I think we would want at least a full year of this, if you so choose to increase rates, a full year of data. But there is no plan right now to come back to council for an additional fee structure change once the meters are installed.
So once all both new systems are installed and up and running, will still be these same rates?
As of now, yes, but again, council can change that if they so choose to.
Okay. Thank you. Any other questions? Yes.
Thank you. The $3.8 million forecasted increase in revenue, that's based on the current usage, correct?
That's correct.
So what's not factored in is the potential of people that are going to park here with the new rates. They infiltrate the neighborhoods more, or they try to find wherever free parking they can and walk further, or end up going to another city. So the reduction in that demand isn't factored into those increased potential rates.
It's unknown. I think right now I had argued that the beach slots are at full capacity during the summertime. Will consumer behavior change? Quite possibly. We don't forecast that it would be a significant reduction in the $3.8 million. So consumer behavior is unknown. I think price sensitivity when it comes to meters is hard to tell, right? I think, like I mentioned, the math of a 2.5-hour stay at the beach lot. What happens if somebody's paying $1 more, $2 more, $3 more? We don't know what that price point is that would deter people from potentially parking.
Right, because the proposal is to go to $3 and $5 an hour, and the chart that you have provided us in Redondo Beach, it's $2 an hour, and Manhattan Beach, it's $2.50 and $3.50. So I'm just wondering that the justification for this is more based on the financial benefit and need for increased revenue as opposed to a market system where it's based on neighboring cities. Is that correct?
Possibly, but there's a third component too, is that I think when I started the presentation off was when we don't have a large sales tax economic base, the cities you referenced, Manhattan, let's use El Segundo as an example too, a really, really robust sales tax base. El Segundo's budget's twice the size of ours. Their sales tax revenue is 4.5 times ours. So I think other cities have more of a diverse set of revenue streams to be able to fund some of these capital needs.
Okay.
So I think that's a third component too.
Yeah, so it's fair to say that it's not based on this market rate, it's based on the need that we have in the city.
That's correct.
Okay, I'd like to hear more from the two council members on the subcommittee and justifying the recommendations, and thank you very much.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Keegan.
So when did the subcommittee meet, and who was on the subcommittee?
It is Mayor Pro Tem DeToy and Councilmember Jackson. We met one time in August.
And with yourself and who else?
And city manager, interim city manager, Mr. Luantano.
In August you met? Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Any other comments? Questions of staff? All right, thank you. I'll open the public comment now to all, first in person.
George Barks, your 3 minutes will begin once you begin speaking.
Good evening, Mayor Seaman and members of the City Council and city staff. When I was sitting up there where you folks are right now, we had the same issues. It's a bedroom community. It does not have a large commercial tax base because it's 1.4 square miles now. It was 1.3 when I was on there. So the options really are reduce spending, and that's not easy. So you're in a tough spot, but it can be done. Proposition 13 was approved when I was on that city council. I was the only council member in support of it, and I was told, George, the city of Hermosa Beach is going to have to close its doors. Well, we're still here, aren't we? 50 years later. So we looked at our options, and we had a creative council and city manager, and we made it work. And so I want you to look at how you can possibly have staff come back, how we can reduce spending so we don't make such a dramatic increase in one step on these, parking meter rates. And I think I read some of the comments, and Greg Newman, I think, said it very well, the impact it will have on businesses, recruiting employees, and the impact it's going to have, on the residents as well. So that projected 3.8 million increase in revenue, you've got to factor in, and there's no way staff is right, knowing how much less sales tax you might be getting, and some of these, patrons going to Manhattan, going to Redondo. I'm happy to hear, though, that this multi-space system finally is going to be as good as Redondo Beach, because I've been trying to get councils here for 10 years to modernize our system, to get the data as Council Member Mayor Pro Tem DeToy is asking for. So let's see, what else? Well, that budget, when I ran the first time for council, was 10 million. Now it's at 56 million. And it's not an easy decision. And I ask you to take a little more time. If you're going to make some increases initially, make them small to start with. And let's see what the impact is going to be. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have Vincent.
Hello, Council. Vincent Bussum. Parking is a very big part of our city, especially physically. We dedicate a lot of our space to parking, so it's important that we utilize it as efficiently as possible. So the core is that it needs to be based, because as we talked about, on demand. Like the market, if we go too far from the market, we're going to cause problems. A lot of people are going to tell you what the problems if it's too high. There's also problems if it's too low. If it's too low, people can't find parking. They're going to come to Hermosa Beach, not going to be able to park and drive away. People will be circling. People will stay too long. There won't be enough turnover in the spots, and there won't be enough visitors in the visitors. So it needs to be right. So fundamentally, we need the data for that. What's important there is how often are these parking spots used? The experts say that you want to price your parking to 85% full about, and then you're using it efficiently. So how do we get there? Well, we got to figure that out. Obviously, we need to get there's got to be some data out there, right? Like the data right now, I pay with a credit card. That credit card is tagged to a day. We could look at how often these spots are used each day, and then adjust from there. $5 for a holiday weekend in the summer, that sounds low. Like we could and probably should charge more than that to get the efficiency out of our parking spot and get the turnover. But $5 on a winter weekday, that sounds high, right? Like if these spots are empty, let's lower the price on those days to get more people in and visiting our businesses and our town. So I would ask right now if we have any more data on the seasonality of the parking spots, and how hard is it to change the rates right now? Like for the summer weekends, if staff could go in like on a Friday afternoon and bump up the rates, and then come back in on Monday morning and bump them down in the summer, and then after Memorial Day, come down and bump them into the off-season rates. How hard could that be done now? Because that would be a huge win over a not great rate that's either too low or too high because of the huge variability in the seasonality of parking. So I suggest you take a look at that. And ultimately, if we have some better technology, there's a lot of great things we can do then, but let's see what we can do now to get it right as much as we can until we have the proper stuff in. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mayor, we did not receive any other speaker card for item 12B.
All right. Oh, one more. There we go.
Hello again. So from a business standpoint, Kathy Uncorked, we are in a competitive situation with our neighboring cities. It's very easy to go to Manhattan Beach or Redondo Beach and have a lot of the bars and restaurants and things to do. We want visitors to stay longer. If it's 90% that it's going to affect visitors and not residents, that's a lot of people not coming possibly to our town and going to our neighboring towns. I personally have friends that always park in Manhattan Beach to go to the beach because they find a free spot in a neighborhood. Most of our neighborhoods only have 1 hour of parking, so they would have to be forced to go into the parking lots, and $5 an hour seems pretty outrageous. And I agree with what George was saying, that a smaller increase, if we need to start elevating things a little bit to help our financial situation, we understand. It's been since 2023, but incrementally, makes sense, because we do not want to deter anybody from coming to our town. And I think this large increase does deter people and visitors and residents from wanting to come over on the other side of PCH and frequent our businesses. And what's great about Hermosa is most people stay longer because they go to so many places, because we've got so many diverse bars and restaurants, and we've got a beautiful beach. So let's get those visitors here and not make it hard. Thank you.
Thank you.
We do have some virtual hands raised. Anthony Higgins, your 3 minutes will begin once you're unmuted.
Yeah, hello. One of the things I think you want to avoid is the perception that you're creating a slush fund with this 3.8 million. And because of that, I really hope you can nail down exactly what the money is going to be used for. Because people are looking at this 3.8 million and thinking that, that 0.75%, $3 million sales tax is also coming right down the road. So I think you need to be careful and speak with a great deal of specificity about how the money is going to be used. The second thing has to do with the 1 hour zones. Brandon made a commitment that we would have mobile ticketing and LPR to enforce parking in the 1 hour zones beginning on May 15th of 2026. That's important because if you start raising the rates in the lots and you're not enforcing the 1 hour zones, which has been the case this past 6 years, if you don't have that mobile LPR, mobile ticketing in the 1 hour zones, you're going to see some people say, hell, I'm not going to use the meters. I'm not going to use the parking lots. I'm going to go up into the 1 hour zones or in the residential areas. So bottom line, specificity on how you're going to spend the money to avoid the perception that you're creating a slush fund with the 3.8 million here plus $3 million in the sales tax. And please consider the spillover effect in the residential districts and make sure that you honor your commitment to have mobile ticketing in the 1 hour zones, not just on Hermosa Avenue or Pier Avenue. Thank you.
Josh K., your 3 minutes will begin once you're unmuted.
All right. I was just over at the lot across the street from my house looking at how many people are parked there. I guess that'll come up later when we talk about Lot E, but I want to address the proposal to raising parking rates. The city says this is about revenue, but there's a bigger issue. Hermosa Beach is failing to collect the revenue it's already owed because of code enforcement and permitting violations are going unchecked. If the city simply enforced its existing laws consistently, revenues would increase without new burdens on residents and visitors. Before you raise parking rates, residents deserve to know, what are we getting in return? You're raising rates. What are you getting? Are we getting more security? Is there going to be patrols there at night so I don't have to call police at 2 a.m. when stuff's going down over there? Are we getting improved maintenance? I mean, there's a half a sidewalk between 2nd and 3rd Street right now, and I've reported that to code enforcement. I mean, that would be thousands of dollars in fines, but we're not looking at that. We're looking at putting meters in so people can be charged more to create a tax for the residents. Okay, I guess I know how it works. But when you pay more, you expect to get more, right? Look at the Domino's pizza ads. You're getting more for less. That's what the city should be thinking about. How do we get the residents more value for living here, not ways to cheat them and make it more expensive for the same services that they currently have and the services that they currently deserve from code enforcement are not being applied. That makes absolutely zero sense. So right now, people see code enforcement ignored, dangerous sidewalks left uncorrected, and projects like 210 PCH built in violation of the rules. And that's where the city should start if it wants to restore trust and generate revenue. Raising rates without fixing these deeper problems just feels like another way to tax residents and visitors without accountability. Please focus on enforcement and transparency and not higher fees. And don't look at the vendors who want to put more meters in so they can make their money. It's a cheap, stupid way to get revenue for the city. I'll repeat that. I'm not going to repeat that again. Enforce the ways that you have revenue now to make the city safe, especially for the residents over by 210 PCH and between 2nd and 3rd Street, where that parking lot E, and I'll have
Time's
more to
up.
say about that later, is, right?
Your time is up, sir. Thank you.
Okay, also with the time enforcement, make sure that the people who spoke before had time.
Thank you.
Matt McCool, your 3 minutes will begin once you are unmuted.
Thank you, Madam City Clerk. Hello, Mayor Seaman, City Council and staff, Matt McCool. A lot of what I agree with has already been stated there tonight, so I'm not going to repeat what everyone says, but I definitely support everybody who's spoken already. So 2 quick points on this is we need to have parity between Redondo Beach and Manhattan Beach for obvious reasons. Same reason why we do the holiday free parking during each December, because we know that both Redondo Beach and Manhattan Beach do that. So parity between the other beach cities is absolutely essential. But first and foremost, as far as the actual parking, Monday through Friday, $5 an hour to go ahead and have lunch midweek is ridiculous. But if I want to do beach parking on a Saturday or Sunday, you could probably get a lot more than $5. Since we don't have the capability of doing flex parking rates, I think the city council should table this for another year, wait till the technology is there, and then go ahead and implement these changes. That's my time. That's my piece. Thanks.
Thank you.
Ann Gothoffer, your 3 minutes. Oh, your 3 minutes will begin once you're unmuted.
Hi there, sorry. I had just lowered my hand, but I was going to say that I am in favor of the increase, but surprisingly, I actually kind of agree with Matt there. If we can possibly do surge pricing in the near future, maybe it's okay to hold off, if it's inexpensive and easy to increase the pricing, then that might be an option to just go ahead with doing at least the lower amounts that have been suggested. That makes sense. Thank you. Sorry about that.
Thank you.
Mayor, we do not have any other virtual hands raised at this time.
All right, then seeing no one else, I'll close the public comment and bring it back to council. I would prefer to deliberate first before we make a motion. So I would like to open this up for deliberation on the city council. Would anyone like to start? Anyone have any comments at all?
Councilmember Francois mentioned the subcommittee meeting. So we did meet with staff, and staff has brought forward a lot of different ideas for the revenue because 2027, 2028 is a real deal when it comes to the LA County Fire contract and the lifeguard contract. The new fire chief is looking at full cost recovery, which is a change of mentality from a previous administration. So the numbers that we have already been asked to pay that we told them no, $1.5 million a year for services that we already have. So those are real concerns in the out years. And that's why we are looking at this. Staff, Ray and I pretty much saw the same report that we saw, the same chart about the cost per hour, and they recommended this as a starting point for conversation. I do think we need to raise rates. I don't necessarily agree with where they are right now, especially I am a big proponent of the surge pricing, and if we're there in parking lots in early 26, I would love to see that come back to us then, because as I think we all know, if we go to Lot A, B, and C, and Lot C is very expensive to maintain based on the age of the parking structure itself. For everyone who doesn't know, that's a parking structure behind the former Starbucks on Hermosa Avenue. We talk in all these letters of parking lots, and all of us just look for parking spots. So Lot C is becoming very expensive to maintain. And we've already done multiple elevator repairs on it, and now you have to do structural repairs on it as well. So there's some major concerns about upkeep of parking structures, and those are the most desirable spots. If the average price per square foot for a rental in Hermosa Beach is $50, average parking spot's about 160 square feet. That's a very expensive rent for a public parking spot. So. As I said, I've kind of rambled a little bit, but definitely think we should increase it. I do think even $2.50 or $3, and then lots come back when we get the technology in place for the dynamic pricing. And with that, I would love to earmark this, or if there's support for it, either 100% of it goes to just street repairs and sidewalk repairs, or just CIPs in general, because we have a huge unfunded need right now. And then also at the city yard that is completely unfunded in that project for public works. So we have a lot on our plate, and we can tell the voters 100% where this money goes. So those are my thoughts. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Did I understand you to say that you were for increasing the rates on the streets from $2 to $3, and from the lots from $2.50 to $5?
Well, currently they're all the same. They're all $2 or $2.50 after hours.
Right. I'm asking you, would they, how
So I think
much would you-
everything just getting bumped up either 50 cents or a dollar, depending where the conversation goes, would be my thoughts. I don't think we're going into slow season right now, so I don't see a big demand for increasing the parking lots right now. We need to get help to our downtown area. And plus, we're going to have those beautiful, like, November 12th days where it's 80 degrees, and I think we all deserve a little trip to the beach with cheap parking. So those are my thoughts.
So you're essentially in favor of increasing both meters and lots $1 an hour from where we are now?
50 cents or a dollar,
50
wherever the
cents or a dollar,
conversation goes.
somewhere in that neighborhood.
Earmarking it all for either streets or CIPs.
And earmarking it. Okay, that's great. Anyone else have anything to say? Yes, Councilman Francois.
Thank you. I guess the discussion of having dual flex meters and all that is something we can have in the future, but so as I understand, the subcommittee members originally recommended going to $3 and $5, and now this recommendation is being changed now to just go up $1 each, which makes it $3 and $3.50? Is that what I'm hearing here? I just want to make sure I'm clarifying.
You said
That's
50 cents or a dollar, so it's open, it's fluid still.
So we're changing the recommendation then? Is that what?
Those are just my thoughts.
Those are your thoughts? Okay.
Staff is what recommended these numbers.
Yeah, I mean, I'm concerned we don't have data to justify that large increase. It would have been great if we had more. It's based on our revenue needs and not based on our neighboring cities. So I'm okay going up $1 on each of these, but that's not what was proposed. What proposed here was going from $2 to $3 and $2.50 to $5 in the beaches. So, and I'm not in favor of that proposal that was recommended here. And yeah, something a little bit less that we can all compromise would be a great idea, in my
And
opinion.
if
Thank
you don't mind my asking,
Sure.
what do you think about earmarking the money? Do you have an opinion on that or no?
Well, Mr. City Manager, could you explain a little bit about how earmarking would work? From an administrative standpoint and how managing funds in the city goes.
We would separate out the increase of whatever council decides it is and put that aside to be spent on whatever council designates, whether it's streets and sidewalks or whether it's CIP projects in general.
Okay, so there's a cost to that. There's an accounting to that. And let's say we take in, well, we took in 5.5 million last year, so we take in a little bit more. Let's say we increase a little bit. It comes out to 6 million or 7 million that comes in. That gets budgeted separately.
It will be set aside. Staff is already doing this with the parking money now. It wouldn't be any really different. There wouldn't be an added cost to.
Could you explain that?
I guess I'm wondering what the added cost would be.
You said what's already being done now is?
We collect the money now. We would just be collecting more money and setting part of it aside.
So we have a city budget we work on every year.
Right, but we have a designated fund for the parking meter rates that we collect now.
Right.
And so we can track those now, and we'll just track more of it and separate out.
So we go through our budget, mid-year review, and suddenly we're going to have an extra 5 million that will dedicate to that and nothing else. Is that?
I wish it was 5 million, but it's
Well,
not going to be.
5 million is what we brought in according to the data here in '24, we brought in 5 million.
Yes, but if you're only increasing it at 50 cents to $1, you're not going to get $5 million out of that. Increasing it to $3 and the $5 was going to get 3.8 million.
Okay. So, I mean, essentially, money gets increased, but then we do the whole budget, we work on it all, so. Okay.
We can set aside the money.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Earmark or no earmark?
I'm not so sure about that.
Okay, that's
Yeah,
fine.
Thank you.
Councilman Keegan, do you have anything you want to add to this?
Well, I'm kind of torn by this question. It seems like the initial proposal was quite a bit of money. I didn't think that we would come back with a $3.8 million number when we were looking at raising the parking rates. That seems to solve everything with one swoop. It is a fine idea to not tax our residents, and it's mostly visitors, but it does impact our businesses, and quite a few residents, I think, perceive that they park down there a lot. And I guess once or twice a year, it's a big inconvenience. The few times they do pay the extra money. But I'm torn for the businesses. Currently the environment is very difficult with tariffs and different items affecting cost and food prices and buying goods and, even gym shoes. I mean, it's just a difficult period. So I'm a little concerned with trying to collect all of our shortfalls with one swoop. So I'm probably not in favor of the Finance Committee's recommendation. I think that because we don't have our license plate readers, and it's a tenuous time in business, that maybe a 25-cent increase would be more appropriate.
25 across the board.
25 cents, yes, which would get us $387,000. And, when we need to raise money to cover these costs, we have to take it from every little section of town. We can't just pull it from one. We're raising fees for, general fees we're looking at are fees across the board, this kind of fee. We could do dynamic pricing once the license plate reader technology is in, and I'm all for that because I think that it should be lower in the colder months and more expensive in the warmer months for parking. And so we can do that once that's in place. So for now, our city manager wants to shore up some of our finances immediately and not later. So I think a 25-cent increase would be palatable to the businesses and the residents.
Okay, great, thank you. Councilman Councilman Jackson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you for all the speakers this evening. Appreciate the staff's work on this. I am in agreement with Mayor Pro Tem and Councilmember Francois. I think the 3 and 4 option makes sense immediately for the city, with an eye towards the dynamic pricing when that becomes available sometime next year, if not sooner. It's clear, I used the example, I went to $1 wing night and it's now $1.50 wing night. And I certainly understand its costs are going up. Everything's going up, and we want to be able to provide the best services that we can, and that comes at a cost. We just went through budget discussions with our labor negotiations. We just went through labor negotiations, right? And everything's costing more. We want to be able to provide better services and more services, and people want more PD on the streets. We need the signage, we need the lighting, we need all those things that we're trying to get. And when you look at that CIP list, it's only going to grow longer. In an ideal world, everybody would be able to park wherever they wanted, and it would be free. But unfortunately, we don't have that luxury in our small town. And I think the proposed $1, the 3 and 4 option, puts us in line with Manhattan Beach and some of the other beach cities, and it generates the revenue we so sorely need. And again, I think we factor in the surge pricing. I think that's great. That's the way it should be. We peak and we reduce based on surge, and we can figure that piece out when that's ready for us to come back next year. So we need the money now. It's better that the weight of this is borne by the visitors and not by the residents, and we can always adjust later as needed. So that's where I am, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Jackson. I concur with 99% of what you said. I'm also in line somewhat with Mayor Pro Tem Detoy and Councilman Francois. I think the idea that we're going to be paying for our city yard and civic center and so on and so forth with this money is honestly doesn't make much sense to me at all. We're not going to be able to do either one of those projects based on 3.8 million or 1 million, whatever it is. That's not what we're talking about here. We do need more money, and I agree with that. And to the caller that said, what are we getting for our money? Well, you're getting everything. You're going to get a police department, you're going to get a fire department, you're going to get sidewalks and streets and lights and all of that business. You're going to get security. you're going to get all the services we're getting now. Because those things, we have a balanced budget at the moment, but we're looking at next year, not a balanced budget. We have a problem that's coming up. So it's not a matter of just we're money hungry and we're doing this just for the money. We're doing this because the city needs to consider what are we going to do next year, how are we going to pay for these services and so on and so forth that we're providing today. This is really not going to pay for those things completely, but it's going to help. It's going to help a lot. I think that for us to make a giant leap right now is not a good idea. We've heard from the businesses that things aren't really all that wonderful, and we're struggling a bit still, and coming into the off-season and so on and so forth, this is not a great time to be raising anything to $5 or $6 or $7. I think something that would be reasonable and conservative would be $1 across the board, so we're at $2.50 an hour at the lots to go to $3.50, and for the meters to go from $2 to $3 right now. With an eye toward next year, which is why I asked so many questions about when are we going to get this new technology. And I appreciate staff, you know, when I ask you a direct question like that and you go, well, maybe by February or maybe by June, it's difficult to say when exactly. It'd be nice to be able to go, well, we can count on it. We have it scheduled, it's going to happen, we got the money for it, we're going to do it, and it's going to be October 1st next year or something. So I think that surge pricing, the ability to raise the price in the summertime, lower it in the wintertime, we can look at any one lot and go, you know what, this thing is empty all the time, so let's drop the price a bit, see if we can't use it more. The meters on this street are being used too much or not enough, and so on and so forth. And we have the ability to change those rates all over the place. I mean, multitasking those rates, that's ideal. That's the time to really make some changes in the amounts. So for the moment, I think, and I will make a motion here and see if we have some agreement on it. I move that we raise the rates $1 on the lots and on the meters straight across the board, and that we do not earmark the money because it would make no sense to do that, I think, promising someone that we're going to have better sidewalks or we're going to have lighting or signage or something. I think all of those things are important. And that's why we have a budget that we take all the money we get from sales tax and all the money we get from parking meters and all the money we get from everything and put it into our general fund and then distribute it according to what we need to do, including CIPs. So I think we not earmark the money. I think it goes in the general fund and we spend it wisely, not foolishly. That's important. So my motion is this. We raise rates on the lots from $2.50 to $3.50, and we raise rates on the parking meters, street meters, all street meters straight across the board from $2 to $3 and not earmark the money.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
Just clarification with staff, because I believe right now our rates are not set for on-street and parking lots. They are time-based, and so that $2 and $2.50 are a post-8 o'clock, not geographical parking lots. So I heard your motion, I just want to clarify.
Okay, well, that's
That's correct.
Yeah. Go ahead, Brandon, can you clarify that, please?
That's correct. Those rates are location agnostic, so it's just by time. So all on-street and lots are $2 for that set time, and after 8, all go to $2.50. So I just wasn't sure if the demarcation was by location and time or just by time across the board.
All right, so then let me ask you this question. So according to this chart here, Hermosa Beach, $2 and $2.50. It's $2 during the day and $2.50 at night.
For all meters.
All meters.
That's correct.
What's the rate in the lots?
Same.
Same. 2 and $2.50.
Yeah. So the pricing is the same regardless of location. It's just time differentiation.
Okay, so then my motion would be to raise each rate, $3 in the daytime and $3.50 at night.
Got it.
All across the board. Thank you. Is there a second?
So Mayor, you amended your original motion, just for clarity?
Yes, I did. I made a motion that we raise across the board $1 from 2 to 350, from 2 to 3, and from 250 to 350.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor, I will second it if you don't make it time-based, but geographically based. I think the parking lots should pay a premium based on their vicinity and also the expense of maintaining them.
That's what I had in mind in the first place, when I made the motion in the first place, but, so.
$3 for meters to $3.50 for lots.
$3 for the meters and
We get rid of the time.
and $3.50 for the lots.
We get rid
Okay,
of this.
so that's a,
Yeah.
so we're amending the motion. Okay, that's an
Well,
amendment.
yeah, actually, that was my original motion. When the question came up about the day and night hours, I misunderstood well, I'm looking at this chart and misunderstood what it was saying.
Okay, so for clarity's sake, what is the amended motion on the table?
That the parking meters go from $2 to $3 all times, and the lots go from $2.50 to $3.50 at all times. Is that what we're talking about? Do you agree with that?
So lots will be $3.50, parking meters will be $3.
The staff
Yes, I'll
report
second that.
states it's $2 an hour from 10 to 8, and $2.50 an hour from 8 to 2. That's in the staff report. So if we go up $1 each on those, it's $2 to $3 from 10 to 8, and $2.50 to $3.50 for 8 p.m. to 2.
That's correct.
There's a motion on
Is there something different we're doing than that?
There's a motion on the floor.
That is what we're doing.
Would you like to hear
just
the
the
motion?
way
Would you
it's-
like to hear it read back?
No, I just want to make sure that it's clear. With just, has nothing to do with the lots or anything else. It's the time.
No, it has
10
everything to do
to
with.
8 and 8 to 2, just as in the staff report has.
Mr. City Attorney.
So-
would you
Yeah,
Read
so,
it
so
back.
we have a motion which has been amended on the table. So are you disagreeing with that motion, or?
Well, somehow we interjected lots and no lots and meters and not meters, and I'm just trying to get back to the staff report to make it clear. The staff report states it's $2 an hour from 10 to 8 and $2.50 an hour from 8 to 2 a.m. That's how the staff report is written up. And as I understood it, you're raising each of them $1. If that's not the case,
We were changing from a time to
Changing
a
from time to
geographic.
Geographic. All parking lots, A, B, C, D, E, and so on,
There's no difference.
are going to $3.50 an hour.
There's no
period.
longer, there's no
Day or
longer
night,
time.
$3.50 an hour, period. All parking meters, day and night, are $3 an hour. That is the motion.
we're getting rid of the times altogether then.
Yep,
Okay,
that's true. And that is the motion.
okay.
Sorry, Mr. Mayor, sorry to interject. Just for clarity, beach lots, we colloquially refer to them in the staff report as lots, only lots A, B, and C. Is the proposal for all lots?
No,
Or just A, B, and C?
C.
Got it, thank you.
Yes, thank you. Okay. There's a motion on the floor. Do I have a second?
I have a registered second for Mayor Pro Tem DeToy.
Is there an, Mr. Mayor, if I could,
Yes?
is there an appetite to include parking lot D?
I'm open to that if there's
Well,
an agreement on that.
That would be, then you'd be amending the motion
Right.
by adding D.
Right.
So if you want to make that motion,
Mr. Mayor, isn't the unique thing about D is they are half yellow, half silver, if my memory is correct?
Only 6 yellow. The rest are.
Or the exact, I don't know the exact breakdown. It's a combination of 24-hour meters and then the silver posts.
That is correct, yes. There's yellow and silver there. Yeah, about 50/50.
So is there no opinion on adding Lot D to that list? Then I would say no. Let's leave it the way it is, A, B, and C.
well, Councilman Jackson, are you amending the motion that's on the table by adding Lot D, or?
There doesn't appear to be any support to.
Okay,
Yeah,
Okay.
sorry.
But the meters in Lot D would still go to $3.
The meters in D would go to $3. Got it.
Based on the motion.
Check.
That's correct. All right. Madam City Clerk, would you call the question, please?
Voting is now open. Motion carries with Councilmember Keegan voting no.
Great, thank you. All right. 12C,
12C, introduce an ordinance to amend Hermosa Beach Municipal Code Section 10.36.010 to meter Lot E.
Hello again. We covered a lot of the material on the previous item that we'll go through here. So the item in front of you here is a decision by council whether or not to meter current city lot E. So a little bit of background on this lot. So again, this map from the previous item, lot E is in the southernmost part of the city, right below there. We'll actually zoom in to get more detail now. So right now, lot E is the only city-owned lot that's not metered, that's not either metered or deed restricted. So if you notice in this chart, everything blue is what we have currently metered. Lot A, B, C, and D, meters along Hermosa Avenue, Upper Pier Avenue. Everything else in orange is city-owned property that's not metered. All of the, other than Valley Park up top, all of the, in the center of the map are public property, publicly owned property, but they're deed restricted, meaning that we can't currently meter them. So Lot E, the item under consideration now, is the only lot that's city-owned, that's not deed restricted, that we are looking to potentially meter if council so chooses to. So a little zoom in more about Lot E. So what we're talking about now is the highlighted blue area on this property right here between 2nd and 3rd, lining PCH. Right now it's currently 25 spaces, one designated as an ADA space. Again, as I mentioned before, the only city lot that's currently not deed restricted and not metered. If we do make any improvements or changes here, it does trigger ADA improvements. So essentially what that would look like is that there's a slight grading we have to do with the ADA space. Approximate time and effort of that is about $10,000 to make those ADA improvements. The plan, if council so chooses to go forward with metering this area, would be installing multi-space meters. So not single poles, it would be 1 meter station for multi-space marked meters. So right now, citywide, we have current metered hours of 10 a.m. to 2 a.m. Right now, this lot is 2 hours parking. I believe it's until 6 p.m. So it's 2 hours limited right now. There's two options on the table. One is to meter or not meter, and second is to whether we align the meter hours with the rest of the city. Again, preliminary estimates, if this space was metered, about $50,000 per year in additional revenue. Staff did do a spot, essentially a 2-week sample of occupancy. During the week, it's about occupied about 64% of the time. This lot is these blue spaces. So in general, we touched upon this a little bit in the previous item, is why parking meter in general. Obviously, first is additional potential revenue to fund street and community projects and capital needs, which we outlined before. To improve traffic flow, the idea that people theoretically are circling less, looking for free parking. And also for businesses, encourages space turnover. So right now it discourages essentially parking lot squatting from those residents or visitors that aren't there for commercial activity. Again, potentially reduces emissions as it prevents cars from circling around. And a big thing too when it comes to data and analytics we talked about in the previous item is by metering, rolling out the multi-space meters, we get better data, better opportunity to dynamically price if those meters are in place, to adjust rates if we so choose to in the future. Community benefit. The idea of turnover is really key here, is making sure that there is ample parking for customers, for residents, and for tourists to encourage turnover in these spots when they are metered. Theoretically, less driver frustration as there is dedicated space. With paying and metering, there is an increase in turnover, allowing theoretically for more spaces to be open for new parkers. Again, an additional revenue source that can potentially use to beautify and upgrade and keep this area up to snuff. The idea of the safer streets, theoretically less illegal parking, unsafe parking, double parking in the area with a dedicated space that's constantly turned over and available for more parking opportunities. And again, long-term, preventing monopolization, preventing people from squatting from those spots. So again, theoretical community benefit when it comes to metering, in addition to the revenue benefits. So that concludes my brief staff presentation. Happy to answer any questions and start a discussion with council. Thank you.
Thank you. Brandon, I do have a quick question. So the meters that go in here, the rate would be $3 an hour?
That's correct.
And the hours would stay at 10 a.m. to 2 a.m.?
That's what's currently lined out in the Muni Code now for all meters citywide. If council so chooses to adjust those based on resident or business need, you guys are welcome to do that also. But the consistency with all other meters is that 10 a.m. to 2 a.m. Enforcement time.
And then it would be free to park there outside of 10 a.m. to 2 a.m.?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you. That's the only question I had. Anyone else have any questions of staff? Yes, Francois.
Thank you. The expense of setting up the metered system was mentioned in the staff report at $10,000.
That is for the ADA grading. Only.
Excuse me?
That is only for the ADA grading, for the grading of the ADA space.
Oh, I thought 20,000 was the ADA grading. So what's the cost of setting up a metered system in this lot?
Do you have an estimate for this?
So you are correct. It's 20,000 for the ADA grading and 10,000 for the meter, for a total of 30,000 for the entire project.
Okay, so so $10,000, is that to set up a park mobile signage pay-by-app system?
So that'd be for the actual multi-space meter, and then park mobile signage would be free. We actually get that just as part of their agreement.
Okay, and so that would be $10,000, including staff time and everything, and equipment to put in that pay-by-app mobile signage system.
Well,
It sounds pretty cheap. I'm just wondering if
Yeah.
we're talking about the right cost here.
Yeah, so it's about 8,000 for the meter, and
Yeah.
then somewhere between 1,000 to 2,000 for the actual installation by the company. And the park mobile signage will actually be free, and then we'll just have to mount that at the various locations on the lot.
Right, and then what are the annual costs for that?
So for the meters, if I remember correctly, it's $68 a month for the meters, and there's no transaction fees on these new meters.
So 68 a month
It's around
for
like 900 and something a year.
for 25
It's
spots.
only, it's only 1 meter for the entire lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we're paying 5% on credit card fees, correct?
Correct, and that's just
On top of
universal
that.
across the board.
So the 50,000 annual revenue, that's based on, it looks like $5 a space a day if I do the math. So that means each meter is expected to be used maybe 2 hours a day?
So the way that figure came about was by using the revenue from Lot D and then kind of using the hours that are currently in place. For
Which lot?
Lot D.
D.
D, because it's a similar size. It has a few less spaces. I believe it's 18 spaces over 24. But it's a similar size, so we'll use that as kind of a model. But we did kind of put the restrictions in place in that model to essentially show Lot E's hours from 7 to 6 p.m. We use that in the model to show the actual revenue, which is what we're projecting in the staff report.
So are there any other utilization figures to, in other words, potentially you put meters in this lot where there's free parking all around it. It would be logical that people would go to the streets, go everywhere else. There's free parking on PCH even. So what's the reality of the utilization when there's free parking all around this lot?
Yeah, so as Brandon mentioned, we did do a quick occupancy study over 2 weeks, twice a day at 11 a.m. and 4 p.m. And it came out to 64% over those 2 weeks. So we did do that kind of occupancy study to show that over a 2-week period.
So the 64% is based on what?
Free parking.
Spot checks, essentially going to the lot and going, okay, there's 15 spots of the 25 spots occupied, take that percentage and then, bring it out.
That would be in Lot D, right?
Lot E. So the occupancy study was in Lot E. So there were 64, over a 2-week period, the average occupancy was 64% in Lot E.
Right. Okay, yeah, those are all the questions I have. I do have concerns about spillover into the neighborhoods, but thank you very much.
Any other questions of staff? Yes, Vito.
Thank you. What are the numbers for Lot G?
a lot lower. Ken has the figures.
All right,
Because I view Lot G as more similar than Lot D.
Yeah, I mean, it is, geographically closer located. I believe the revenue figures for that one are a lot smaller. It's about, I think it was like 5,000 a year. But I think just kind of a different, I feel like it's more similar to Lot D in the sense of how many people are using it on a regular basis. But.
Okay. And then, according to the staff report, this was last heard in 2013. So I'm sure we were all eagerly knocking at the door to bring this back up. But why now? I've not went and parked there to pick up Domino's for my kids earlier today, but have not thought about metering this spot. So what was did we get complaints from businesses that there wasn't enough turnover in the lot? Like, how did this conversation come back up?
No direct conversation. I think looking at meter usage across the table, we realized that this is the only sold lot not currently metered. So I think it's an opportunity again, we talked about price per rental or price per square footage. This is a city asset that's currently not making any money. So it's a consideration of, is it a potential revenue option? Obviously weighed with the business and community concern. So it's, again, up for council consideration is, quote unquote, is the proverbial juice worth the squeeze? Is it an opportunity to increase turnover, increase a little bit of revenue stream, obviously counterbalanced by what are the needs by the businesses in the local community? So that's kind of the background of why this item's in front of you today.
Perfect. Thank you.
Any other questions of staff?
I have a question.
Yes.
With these increased spaces, how will the staffing be affected? How will we need to hire more people? Will our hours need to be extended? What kind of operational needs? And if we do this, will we be taking away from the enforcement of other areas by going out of our way up to this lot?
So no, because of the remote nature of it and the amount of spaces, it would just be rolled up into the existing CSO kind of path of enforcement now. So we're not projecting any kind of additional staff needs or any kind of additional costs outside of the AD improvements and then the cost of the equipment. So no changing or no augmenting staffing needs for enforcement.
Thank you.
Quick question, wouldn't this lot not also be included in the automatic license plate readers in next year?
Yes, it would be. That would be citywide.
So staffing would be much less anyway.
That's the idea.
Okay. All right, great. Yes, Councilman Francois.
Thank you. I have a follow-up to my fellow Councilmember DeToy mentioned Lot G. That's the one on the other side of PCH. What was the annual revenue for that lot?
Roughly $5,000.
So if that's $5,000 a year and that's 10 meters, I believe.
I believe that's the case, yeah.
So we're talking about now over here on this lot where it's 25 meters, that comes out to $12,000 a year. Annual revenue, not $50,000. So
I think it's depending on what you want to comp it at. I think that on the staff level, we comped it, like as Ken said, to Lot D. I think there could be a debate of what does the usage look like. I'll tell you, without actually metering and actually having the data, it's just a guesstimate right now that of what we think the current makeup of the business proximity, the usage currently, at the staff level mirrors Lot D usage. Could it potentially be less than $50,000? I think we wouldn't know until we actually meter and see customer and resident behavior.
thank you. Yeah, I was under the impression you were comparing the numbers from Lot G. I didn't realize you were comparing it from a lot way down the other end of the city. So I would think that these numbers from Lot G are the comparable ones since they're in the same vicinity, and that brings our revenue down to $12,500, which is quite a shocking difference from $50,000.
Excuse me, I didn't mean to interrupt. What's the meter rate at Lot G right now?
It's the current citywide meter rate of $2 until 8 p.m. and then $2.50 after. Yeah. So the money will go up. So what this number doesn't factor in is the increase that you just approved in the previous item. Again, yes, could it be less than $50,000? Could be more. I think right now it's zero. So I think that's the issue on the table now.
Yeah, I have to agree that the comparison is more to Lot G than D. Parking Lot D is nestled in there amongst Pier Avenue and Hermosa Avenue. Both of these two lots are behind PCH. There's very little parking on PCH. Just, in the morning and in the afternoon, there's no parking on PCH. There's very little businesses that have lots, period, there. I think these two parking lots would be much more in demand than Lot D. I've parked in this one many times to go across the street to St. Roch. This is behind the Hermosa Saloon and other businesses there. So I think the usage there would be much greater for both this one and G because of PCH and the lack of actual parking along PCH. So I don't know about the $50,000 one year and another. These numbers are very, I think that, I can't say that they're inaccurate, but I just honestly, sometimes I really wonder how we come about with those figures. But I think the bottom line is, and you just said it, Brandon, that the bottom line is it's nothing now. So, all right, anyway, thank you. It's just not a question of staff. Thank you. Okay, any other questions of staff? All right, thank you so much. Let's open the public comment now, and then you'll have an opportunity to speak. Sir, excuse me. We'll open the public comment in a moment, and then you'll be allowed to speak. Thank you. All right, open public comment. Madam City Clerk?
Yes, George Parks, your 3 minutes will begin once you begin speaking.
Okay, I'm back again. As you know, I own the property where the Domino's Pizza is. I own the property where CVS Pharmacy is, right? My concern is this overflow would go to CVS and put more demand on the manager at CVS, including myself, to deal with it. So that's one concern. And the people that spoke on this during the public hearing, public participation, they all seem to be against parking meters on this lot. And as you pointed out, Mayor Seaman, in the evening, there's no parking on PCH. So those businesses really need convenient parking for their customers. The saloon, Domino's, and the other businesses there. The other concern that I have is that poor notification for this public hearing. And I think if you read this staff report, it was not the staff report, but if you read the comments, I'm surprised there aren't more businesses, speaking about on this issue, on this item. But so I'm concerned about that, poor notification, and then I learned from the earlier speaker that city's not enforcing the violation of neighboring business using 3 or 4 of those spaces. The auto repair for Hermosa Auto, or it's not Hermosa Auto, Hermosa something, right? And the beach goers. So we're not really enforcing well at all there. I think this item should be continued. Better notification and your, the projected $50,000 and it's going to cost $30,000 and in the comparison with Lot G, because Lot G really is not really being utilized much at all. I never hardly see anybody parking there using those meters. So again, that's my concern. And thank you so much.
Thank you.
Sam V. And a reminder, if you've already spoken on Law E at an earlier public comment opportunity, you're not able to speak on the same item again.
Thank you, City Council. Sam Vieira from up on 3rd Street. I'm fairly close to this lot. You've touched on most of the concerns I had, which the big one being with this lot becoming a paid lot, are we going to see a lot more push into the neighborhoods for people looking for parking? I know when St. Roch reopened, we definitely saw an increase coming into the neighborhoods. And, you see the people walk by and they've got their spandex and their eye makeup on. And it's kind of like Halloween, it's a lot of fun to see them go by. But of course, parking being what it is in the town, that's my concern. I do know there's a couple of multi-unit buildings that are nearby. I would imagine there's probably a couple of residents that probably take advantage of this lot currently. I wonder if the city would consider the idea of maybe extending their parking pass program to residents that are within a certain radius of this lot in the event that they don't want to wait till 2 a.m. to bring their car into the lot. It's just a thought. Mr. Barks mentioned the notification thing. I actually received 2 notifications, which is why I'm here today. I was expecting more businesses here as well. I'm a little surprised, but I do see a lot more names showing up, so we'll have to wait and see what comes there. And, the last question I had was the $50,000 per year thing. Was that with the old rates or the new rates? That's the only question I have. Thank you.
Thank you.
We have Ben R.
Hello, Council. My name is Ben Robichaud, saloon employee and potentially affected party. Why are you coming after me? These meters in the back greatly deter my customers, my friends, my family from coming to see me and shake my hand, have a beer, and relax. I personally don't use the lot for work. I walk, I bike, or I Uber. If these meters are put in place, my family is already, $20 in the hole just to come and see me? I'm an average guy. I'm not some rich person that lives here that looks at $5, $10, $20 and says, whatever. At some point in your life, I'm sure you were just an average dude too. Try and relate to me. Also, what would this metered parking do for me besides be a pain in the butt? We have Fiesta Hermosa. We have Oktoberfest. Those festivals utilize the lots that are being paid for and substantially benefit the businesses around them. You can't look me in the eye and tell me you're going to have some random party in my back lot. If we were to have paid parking behind my business, make it be beneficial for those affected by it, just as it's beneficial for every business that's affected by it currently. Make it make sense. I'm Hermosa Beach. You're Hermosa Beach. Why are you coming after me? I'm not coming after you. It's okay to be Hermosa Beach. That is all.
Quinn Carroll.
Pardon me, sir, didn't you speak on this item already once? You can't speak twice.
Okay, well, we
Sorry.
do get revenue because we get ticketed there all the time.
Yeah. All right, thank you. I'm sorry.
Next, you have Duncan.
Thank you, Council, Mr. Mayor. I had a speech prepared, but my phone died, so I will just express my discontent for this proposition. I'm a frequent patron of the businesses up front of Lot E, and I've spoken to so many people who are patrons of the saloon and of Domino's and the other businesses there, and to state that implementing metered parking in this lot will limit or lower driver frustration. This seems a little laughable to me. I can't explain how frustrating it would be for someone who's used to pulling into that lot and expecting free parking and then instead see a meter waiting for them. And another point as to that it would promote sustainability efforts and limit emissions. I think that's just immeasurable and just kind of a dull point in my view. So I'm just saying, this isn't Pure Avenue, this isn't Hermosa Ave, this is PCH essentially. And when people pull into that lot to see their friends, grab a drink, get some food, this is the last lot, like it has been mentioned, that is not metered in Hermosa. So by that logic, I don't think it's logical to assume that we should just make it metered just because it's not metered. I don't think that makes sense. So, where does it end? So I'll just say it ends here. It ends at Lot E. Thank you.
Thank you.
We have a couple of virtual hands raised. A reminder, if you've already provided comment on Law E, you're not allowed to speak again on the same item. Josh K.
He did, didn't he?
Hey there, thank you.
Madam City Clerk?
So,
I'm sorry, excuse me, Josh, Josh, did you speak on this item already?
no, I spoke on the cost of the meters going up. I did not speak on Lot E.
All right.
I said I would speak on that later.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, great. So I invite all you guys to come over to my house and look at the issues surrounding PCH in the SPA 7 between 2nd and 3rd Street. I invited Michael DeToy over. He came over, we looked at the issues, and he agreed, especially with the problems of 210 PCH, which hasn't even been completed yet. With the zero setback and the issues there, and the businesses that will go in there with no parking plan approved or submitted to the city at this point, that will increase the problems of parking. And we're talking about the area where people live, and increasing the fact that people will be parking away from where there are meters affects the businesses. It's more carbon monoxide or dioxide or whatever you want to call it. I urge you to reject this proposal to convert Lot E into a paid metering lot. The lot already serves the community well. The free 2-hour limit keeps cars out of the neighborhoods. If meters are installed, drivers will avoid fees by parking on the nearby residential streets, adding to congestion, noise, and safety concerns. It's noisy out here. There's sirens all day long. There's construction. It's changed over the past 10 years. There's a demonstrated shortage of parking. Spaces are typically open both day and night. Adding meters would discourage use of the lot without solving any real problem. With 210 PCH bringing multiple businesses, this block already faces more traffic. Paid meters will make parking less attractive for customers and push more cars into residential areas. Enforcement is another issue. Residents report that patrols are rare and it can take hours for a response. If the current 2-hour limit isn't being enforced, adding meters won't fix that. It just adds to the cost and inconvenience for the community. I urge you to look at how many citations were issued over the past 5 years in that lot. Not a lot. Beyond this, the corridor is already overwhelmed. PCH and 2nd and 3rd is congestion nightmare, neglected by the city from code enforcement, which I already spoke about, that goes unchecked. That's a revenue stream. You don't have to put meters there. To serious safety hazards like the collapsed sidewalk that exists right now. And I've sent several emails about that. It's a risk. To the many car accidents at this intersection, instead of addressing these long-standing problems, the city is piling on a new one. And looming over all this is the illegality of the construction of 210 PCH, a project built with zero setbacks against residential property.
Can you wrap up, please?
Variance and riddled with permitting violations. Adding meters to Lot E will only compound the impact.
Can you wrap up, please? Your time's up.
Okay. Next, we have Anthony Higgins. Anthony, your 3 minutes will begin once you begin speaking.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting what I believe it was Mr. Bark said, that the lot across the street, Lot Z, is it? I don't know, with 10 parking spaces, all metered, is barely used. Now, Public Works said they've registered a 54% occupancy in Lot E. But that's when it's free. You start putting meters up, and you're likely to see the same occupancy you're seeing across the street in Lot Z. In other words, a significant percent of that 54% that's using free spaces is going to go across the street to CVS or into residential parking. I also think that the Lot Z cost comparison, you look at how much money you're making there and you extrapolate from that, not Lot D. And that extrapolation, if Mayor Saban was correct, was $12,000. So it seems to me that you have a 54% occupancy when it's free. Across the street, you have meters and virtually no occupancy, according to Mr. Barks, who should know. I mean, he has a lot of interest in that area. So that 54%, you throw meters in there, they're just going to move elsewhere. You're not going to make any money, and you're going to make things worse on CVS and for the residents. Now, I know I'm speculating with all this, of course, but until you have a better sense of what's really going to happen with that 54%, until you have a better handle on that, until you have a better handle on the revenue, I think you should delay this. Thank you.
Mike, your 3 minutes will begin once you're unmuted.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Great. Good evening, Council. My name is Mike Treidel. I live on 2nd Street. I just want to say I did not receive a notice. I heard about it through a friend. Based on everything I know and everything I've heard tonight, this appears to be bad for all stakeholders. When you look at the updated numbers, this does not look like a profitable investment for the city. We know it will cost around $30,000 to install and set up. We don't really know what the revenue is. I mean, it's, there's debates over which lot's the right comparable, and it sounds like the revenue could be as low as $12,000 a year. So it does not seem profitable for the city, at least not for the first few years. We've heard from businesses and patrons. They are against it. And we've heard from residents too. They also appear to be against it. I have not heard a resident tonight come out in support of this. I think the only one benefiting would be the company or individuals doing the actual construction, doing the ADA upgrades and setting up the meter, or anyone collecting fees on that. So just to recap, I don't think this is good for the city, patrons, business owners, or residents. And of course, then there's the overflow issue too, on both sides of the PCH into the residential communities. So that's all I have to say on that. And thank you.
Thank you.
Matt McCool, your 3 minutes will begin once you're unmuted.
Thank you, Madam City Clerk. Hello again, City Council staff, Matt McCool. Hate going last or towards the end because everyone's already said everything that needs to be said. But again, I can't emphasize the metering, just a meter because it's available. The staff report is clearly inconclusive that there is going to be an actual return on investment within a specific amount of time. So therefore, I'd say the staff report is inconclusive and this project should not move forward in any way. And then as far as actually making that lot a metered lot, it would cause erratic driving behavior in probably the most dangerous intersection in the city of Hermosa Beach. I would love to see a staff report on number of accidents on PCH and 2nd Street. it's constantly being posted on social media by the police department. So I just don't see it. And then as far as like, if you guys have to do this going forward, and this is absolutely something you feel that you need to do, the main reason why I was calling in, and this is, Director Walker talked about a second element of this, is the actual time frame which this is going to be enforced. Having lived in that area, in 2011, I got orders to go to Afghanistan. I needed to go ahead and rent a room temporarily in that area. It was a 3-bedroom condo with 2 parking spots. I was constantly looking for parking and street parking there. I know how frustrating that is for the people. So I'm sure those residents right now in that general area, after business hours, they're using that for overnight parking. So have some compassion on the renters. Renters are totally underrepresented on the city council and within city government, just in general. That's my time. That's my piece. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mayor, we do not have any other virtual hands raised.
All right, well then, seeing none, I will close the public hearing, public comment, and bring it back to council for deliberation or a motion. Anyone have any deliberation they would like to add? Yes, Councilman Francois.
Thank you. Yeah, it's now that we've learned that it's not 50,000 annual revenue, it's more like 12,500, $625 a year in the system. 5% credit card fees we pay on that brings it down to 10,000 and pays for itself in 3 years. I just don't think this is worth it for $10,000 of income to this city. So I'm going to make a motion that we take no action on this tonight.
I'll second that, and I'll give my 2 cents on it. The only way I'd make it work in my mind is to match a 10 a.m. start time and end it at 5 or 6 p.m. And not enforce it on Wednesday during the street sweeping on the surrounding blocks. And I think when you compile all those hours together, that ROI is pretty far out. So
Go small.
yeah. So with that, I'm happy to support that motion.
Let's call it a question.
All right, is there any more deliberation? Yes, Councilman Jackson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Here's what we know now. We know that we don't know what the revenue is going to be. It's a lot of speculating, but we don't know. What we do know is that 60% of those spots are being used by neighbor and garage. What we know that a lot of the other spots are being used by contractors. I live by there. I'm a frequenter of your establishment, big fan of what you guys do. And those spots are filled all the time, and you can attest to that. Contractors and the repair guys are parking their vehicles there all day. The tension lies with, we expect our PD and our CSOs to be all places at all times, trying to monitor the entire city. And the expectation is, well, those guys can come out there and chalk, and then 2 hours come back and chalk again, and chalk all day and chalk their way out of this. And I just think that's unrealistic. What we also know is, I go to St. Roch at night, and there's parking on PCH. There's parking at CVS. Your CVS parking lot runneth over, George. And there is parking on PCH. So there is parking. So if we are going to manage that if we just want it to be a free-for-all, which is what it is now, where it's not benefiting the businesses writ large, it's benefiting the contractors who are paying nothing to basically stay there all day and move from spot to spot every few hours, as well as the garage guys that are parking their vehicles there, that's not being utilized. So I think we need to do something. I think metering is the only something that makes sense in my mind. And then at the end of a year, we can look at the data, because we'll actually have data, and see who's parking there, when, and how much, and to see if it's worth continuing. But to do nothing and hope that those 25 spots, because it's a public parking spot, and there are people that will park there and pay the fine and walk to the beach, because it's a easy place to park, and it's cheap if you pay the fine. So you know, I think it's an opportunity now to generate revenue. Let's see what it makes. I guarantee it's pretty full now all the time, and anyone that works in those businesses can tell you. There's a late night crowd that's there, the Hermosa Saloon, as well as St. Rock. Those folks are always parking there, so that's potential revenue. And there's tons of free parking at CVS. Thank you, George, for your generosity. And there's free parking on PCH on either side after 7. So the amount of free parking is plentiful as it stands now, and I think that we should try to take advantage to better manage that spot and look at potential revenue generator.
Thank you. Yes, Councilman Keegan.
I just want to point out that this, is used by the businesses, and they aren't here to, no one's complained that the lot's not working for them, and if they were, they should have brought forward their complaints to at least the city manager and figured out a way to be able to use their own, property adjacent for their businesses. So I don't know if I buy that, but one thing we are doing is we're going to have the license plate reader technology, and eventually we'll be able to patrol up there, and we'll be able to get rid of the people who are moving around. Granted, they can keep moving spaces, but they'll at least be ticketed on a much more regular basis. And we might as well wait until something like that goes through, and then we should be talking to the businesses and finding out, what's going on up there during the daytime. We do know at night that people are using it for the apartments and for the saloon and that, and I think that's fine. I don't think we need to capture every square inch of real estate. I mean, Redondo Beach put a bunch of meters on Redondo and Francesca. Some more recently in Francesca they put in 10 years ago. Those meters cost them more money than they make. I mean, there's never a goddamn car between Redondo and Catalina, ever. And I used to take my kid to school every day, and there wasn't one car there, ever, in a whole year, round trip for every day of the week. No cars. So why are we putting in meters in an area where there's no demand? So I just think we should leave this alone. Sometimes if it's not broken, don't fix it. So if it is broken, the people in that area and all those businesses need to come forward, speak to the city, speak to the city manager, speak to parking enforcement, and come up with a better way to patrol the lot. And like I said, when we get the license plate reader technology, the people who are violating the rules will be captured and get tickets. So with that, I want to support this motion. So let's call the question.
Excuse me, you want to support the motion to not do anything?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Any more comments? I'd like to make just a couple. I think, first of all, Lot G, I think people say, well, it's not making any money at all, and it's, so I think it's because nobody knows Lot G is even there. It's behind those buildings, it's really tiny. Nobody honestly really knows. When in discussing this thing with people, I've talked to folks from the neighborhood and so on, I go, what do you think about this and that? And they go, there's a parking lot behind Lot G, where's that? Nobody knows that it's even there. So I think if it was better advertised, it would be more used. Every time I've ever parked in this lot to go to St. Cross at night, that lot's busy. It's full. St. Rock, excuse me. St. Cross is a long way off, yeah. And
It's kind of like
go there at night very often.
They're
too,
both
yeah.
kind of like churches.
They have terrible concerts at St. Cross.
They're both like churches.
Pardon me, St. Rock.
Pray to the bar.
I have to get my saints right. I'm sorry. Apologize. At any rate, every time I go there, that lot's busy. It's full. And I think a lot of them are patrons to the saloon. By the way, the gentleman that says we aren't regular guys, I used to hang out. I probably spent more time in the saloon than you have, but it was a long time ago. So, and I did park behind there too. At any rate, I think that I would like to see if there was some way that we could not meter it, but measure it to find out really just how busy it is and so on and so forth. Councilman Jackson says if we put meters in there, that'd be one way to do that. We'd find out in a year very quickly how busy it is and what kind of money it would make. So I think without that, I think that I'm going to agree with this motion. I'm going to support it until we get the possibility of having the multimeters there and being able to put some other kind of a system in there besides just meters and let it go at that. So for the time being, I think we should leave it alone. So If there's no other further deliberation, there's a motion on the floor. Madam City Clerk, would you call the vote, please?
Yes, voting is now open.
What is wrong with this thing? Jeez.
Motion carries, noting Councilmember Jackson with a no vote.
All right, thank you. Let's move on to municipal matters. That closes the public hearings. And go to municipal matters. Madam City Clerk, would you read 13A, please?
Item 13A, approval of new 2025 special event, Amateur Athletic Union High School Boys Beach Volleyball League matches.
Thank you. Staff report?
Good evening, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, and council members. Austin Dewey, Special Events and Filming Coordinator. At its September 2nd, 2025 meeting, the Parks Commission recommended City Council approve of one new special event onto the 2025 special events calendar. AAU requests approval to hold AAU High School Boys Beach Volleyball League on volleyball courts north of the pier on Sunday, October 12th, 2025. The event would include boys high school volleyball matches, including Maricosta, Redondo, Peninsula, Palos Verdes, Crossroads, Campo Hall, Harvard Westlake, Viewpoint, Wildwood, Torrance, Wiseman Vinci, South Torrance, and Crespi High School. Brentwood, Crescenta Valley, Palisades, Venice, Malibu, Village Christian, and Notre Dame High School also plan to participate. The event producer anticipates up to 150 participants and 100 spectators. There would be no participant fees, and the event would be free for all to attend. Additional event details are included in the AAU High School Boys Beach Volleyball League overview. On the slide before you and within the event overview sheet attached to your staff report is a site map. The event would utilize all 16 volleyball courts north of the pier in the commercial zone, which is between 10th and 15th Street. No additional courts will be installed. There would be no fenced-in areas. This concludes my staff report. We have requested the event producer to be in attendance should the council have any questions, and staff is available to assist with questions as well. If the council recommends approval for the event would be added to the 2025 special events calendar. Thank you.
Thank you, Austin. Questions of staff? Councilman Keegan?
No questions, but you named about 20 high schools, and you said there's only going to be 150 members. My math, right? You know, how many are on each team?
Yeah, I don't have the number on how many are on each team. That's just a list that the event producer had provided that will sign up for this league, but I do not have the individual game schedule for Sunday, October 12th.
Okay, thank you.
Councilman Jackson, anything? Nothing? All right, thank you, Austin. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Let's open the public comment.
Now is the time to provide public comment on item 13A. Time is limited to 3 minutes. Mayor, we did not receive any speaker cards for this item, and we do not have any virtual hands raised.
All right, then, so we'll bring it back to City Council. Close the public comment. Bring it back to City Council for a deliberation or a motion. Either, please. Yes, Councilman Jackson.
I move that we approve staff recommendation.
Second.
Okay, motion and a second. Any comments? Any deliberation? Nope. All right, Madam City Clerk, would you call the question, please?
Voting is now open. Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you, Madam City Clerk. I appreciate it. So let's move on to 13B then.
Item 13B, adopt a resolution and approve contracts for CIP 619 Kelly Courts improvements.
Thank you. Is there a staff report? Did we lose Joe here somewhere? Okay, we can wait for a few minutes. Shoot.
It's our second.
Want to jump in?
It's our second go around. It's a repeat of a February meeting.
Take
Just
a break.
play the playback.
Well, I'm sure he'll be back in a minute. We'll wait. Hey.
Woke him up.
Mayor, Council, thanks for your patience while we were switching agenda items. So before you tonight is the contract award for Kelly Court improvements. So just a quick recap of the scope of work. This is a complete refurbishment of that facility that has pickleball, tennis, and basketball courts, resurfacing, redoing all the fencing and updating the lighting to current standards, meeting all dimensional requirements, and most importantly, we'll be restoring all 4 pickleball courts at this facility. Currently, two of the 4 are closed. We'd be restoring that by bringing this back into compliance with standard dimensional requirements. The project was re-advertised for construction in July. We opened the bids on August 28th. We had 4 bids that came in. The apparent low bidder, Oppenheimer National, which came in substantially lower. We did end up disqualifying them. They were deemed non-responsive in their bid, so we could not move forward with them. But we are recommending a contract award to All American Construction Solutions at roughly $826,000. The anticipated schedule with following notice to proceed and then working on some long lead time items is likely November. This is a 40-day working day schedule to complete the project, so roughly about 2 months of work. Given this would be over some holidays and potential rain season, we're looking at a completion sometime in February of the new year. The city will oversee all the construction with some support from on-call engineering firms as well for inspection services. The recommendations that would be before you tonight are the award for roughly $826,000. We are looking for roughly 15% project contingency. I'm going to draw your attention to recommendation number 5. We're also, as part of this motion, asking for an amendment to a professional services agreement with Nuvis and Associates. They are the designer of record. We are seeking a time extension. We're not seeking any additional funds for that contract, just additional time to be able to continue to use their services to help the city in support through the construction process. That concludes my presentation. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Are there any questions of staff? Nope. All right. Thank you, Joe. Great presentation. Appreciate it. Let's move on to public comment then.
Scott Hayes.
Hi, everybody. So in February, I came up and begged you guys to award the contract as it was, just about $30,000 cheaper and would have had the project done 7 months earlier. You guys didn't do that, and now we're here about to spend $30,000 more than we need. $30,000 more on construction, who knows how much more on staff. I said when I was here in February that I would come back and I'd say, I told you so, and so I'm here to tell you, I told you so, but you should absolutely approve this. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mayor, we do not have any other speaker cards, and we do not have any virtual hands raised.
No one else? Okay, let's bring it back to council then for comments and deliberations or a motion.
Well, I'd just like to say, yeah, we brought this back, same project we had before, and we didn't do it, and now we're doing it. No major changes. So I guess time well spent. I do want to make a note to the city manager and to staff that it's going to occur during HBYB basketball season. And that's the basketball courts are where the teams practice, and so hopefully we'll allow maybe the HBYU to use our community center gym for free since we're doing this thing, and that would be very helpful for them. I'm sure they'd like to get 2 teams in there and schedule some hours for practice, and also help direct them to other courts that they might be able to use during the construction.
We're certainly willing to entertain that. We haven't been asked that so far.
Okay, so I'll make a motion to approve staff recommendation with also the caveat that we work towards helping HBYB get space inside the community center basketball court in lieu of the construction. That's my motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second it. And if I can add a comment to that.
Yes, please.
Councilmember Keegan raised a point that was raised a few months ago that was part of the reason that we didn't approve the project when it was presented, because there was no sequencing and there was no coordination with the various stakeholders that were utilizing the field. So we seem to have had that same sticking point here, it appears, and there's no doubt that we can work that out between Public Works and Parks and Rec.
Thank you, sir. Anything else? Any other comments?
No.
Madam City Clerk, would you call the vote, please?
Voting is now open. Motion carries unanimously.
And Your Honor, just a note on that, speaking with our Community Resources Director, I dare say Parks and Rec, but the HB Basketball League is aware of the sequencing of this, and they're working together to make sure that everything goes smoothly. They have a place to play. Right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, let's move on to item 13C.
Item 13C, award of professional services agreements for on-call community development block grant, administration, and labor compliance services.
So our Public Works Department, we do rely on third-party consulting services to help advance our capital improvement program project and make sure that we're adhering to regulatory requirements. We typically use on-call agreements for these services, and so what these are is these are all done on task order basis. We request authorization for a spending amount, and then as needed, tasks are negotiated between staff and the consulting firm if work is identified. But there's no guarantee of any work under these if it's not needed. So what you have before you tonight, there is really two items in the scope of work. The first is labor compliance. All public work projects are subject to ensure that we're following labor compliance requirements and reporting to the DIR, the Department of Industrial Relations, for prevailing wages. We often do this in-house. For larger or more complex projects, we do rely on third-party assistance to help with this, to make sure that all the paperwork is in order and we're meeting all the requirements. Second, the city is a recipient of community development block grant funding. We receive about 70 to 80,000 a year. We usually accumulate this every couple of years and spend it on ADA improvements, and we do pull in help to administer those funds, those federally funded funds that we do receive, to make sure that we're adhering to all the requirements through that program. We advertised a request for qualifications in July. We got 4 proposals back. Staff is recommending award to 2 consulting firms, Tina Gall and Wilden Engineering. We're ranked the highest out of the 4. We're recommending 2 contracts. Each one would be up to $250,000 each with a term of up to 5 years. So with that concludes my presentation tonight on this item. Happy to answer questions.
Thank you, Joe. Any questions of staff? Anyone? Nope. Oh, I'm sorry. Councilman Detoy.
Thank you. Approximately how much does administration and labor compliance cost? Because our CBDG block grant monies are not substantial. So seeing some of these numbers is shocking.
Right.
But
thank you for that question, Councilmember DeToy. So the biggest piece of this contract is labor compliance services, general labor compliance for any project as needed. Typically, those costs could be anywhere from 1% to 5%, depending on the magnitude of the size of the project. With CDBG, our projects are only $150,000 to $200,000. On something like that, with labor compliance and administration
assistance, I mean, we're looking at probably closer to 5% because it's a bigger, it's a smaller contract value. But it's only a portion of those funds. But there are a lot of rules that we have to follow to use that funding source, but it is free money that the city gets.
Thank you.
Any other questions? No, seeing none? Thank you, Joe.
Thanks.
Great report. We'll open the public comment on this item.
Mayor, we do not have any speaker cards for this item, and we do not have any virtual hands raised.
Thank you. And none in Zoom either? No? Okay, thank you. Back to council then for comments, deliberations, and a possible motion.
I'll make a motion for staff recommendation.
I'll second that.
All right, moved and seconded. Any other comments or deliberations on this? All right then, Madam City Clerk.
Voting is now open. Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you. So we'll move on to 13D.
Item 13D, request to review the Public Works Commission process for oversight and input on the capital improvement program.
Mr. Joe.
All right. So this item thank you, Mayor Seaman. This item was requested by City Council as a future agenda item for staff to return as an information item to review how the Public Works Commission provides oversight and input on the CIP. A quick overview about the commission. Commission's, I guess we've exceeded our 25th anniversary, established around 2000, 5-member terms appointed by the City Council. We currently meet bi-monthly. When the commission was formed around 2000, it was a monthly process. It was 12 times per year. Didn't always meet 12 months, but generally most months there were meetings. Around 2012, the City Council directed staff to go to a bi-monthly schedule. And so the current schedule of the third Wednesday of the odd number of months was in fact around 2012. And that's the current schedule. These meetings are completely staffed by Public Works Department, so that includes agenda preparation and posting, clerking the meetings, in preparation of subsequent meeting minutes afterwards. It's all done by Public Works team. The general responsibilities and purview of the commission are outlined in the Hermosa Beach Municipal Code. When the commission was initially formed, there were really the first 3 bullets were what was identified in that scope of work. A primary responsibility was to review and make recommendations on all CIPs, also assist in the development of guidelines, and to listen to traffic matters that might be referred by City Council for further consideration. Somewhere around 2006, I believe there was an added duty that was updated in the tree ordinance of the municipal code that included public hearings at commission for parkway trees in excess of 12 inches in diameter, but that is also a duty that's outlined per the municipal code for the Public Works Commission. In regards to the request for the informational item, it was really targeted towards around CIP input and oversight. Staff report outlines 6 areas that we have identified where that process happens. I threw in a 7th one in here as I was making the slides tonight. And I'll quickly kind of tick through some of these different items of how that happens. At each meeting that we have a standing item in the agenda for the CIP status report. That includes our detailed sheet that comes to City Council once a month. That's a regular item, and in this past year, we've also updated that status report with a variety of different fields and to include the tentative schedule that we've started developing in the last couple of years. That's now a regular attachment to that. That item is discussed at length with Commission. There's opportunity for public comment at that, and where Commission can ask us questions on any and every single project on that list. Council also has direction, moving on number 2, to defer any items for further review by the commissions. Recent examples, several years ago, Council directed, for example, CIP 502, Greenbelt Pedestrian Trail, to go to Commission and then come back to City Council after there was further public input. And more recently, Kelly Courts was sent back to the commissions before it returned to Council. So that's another example. Number 3, staff can initiate items. Where staff feels that we need to get further input on projects, we can proactively bring items to commission where we can use their expertise to help workshop in a public setting to get further input. Some examples of things that we have in our mind that we intend to bring there in the coming months, CIP 111, our gateway and wayfinding project would be a great item to bring there where we can get input from the community before we bring it to council for further input on potential concept designs for that project. We also tend to bring an item on the pier structural repairs. We are wrapping up a very large structural assessment and cost-benefit analysis that we intend to bring to commission and then council as well subsequently after that. Subcommittees. There have been staff-directed subcommittees out of the commission. Some recent examples several years ago were the Clark Building renovation, and more recently the Parks Master Plan. Both these subcommittees were both with Parks Commission and Public Works Commission, had members that were appointed to those subcommittees to help workshop those projects. Each year, when we bring the study session to City Council in April, we subsequently bring the same presentation content back to Commission in May, where we're able to share council feedback and concerns that came back. Commission is able to review that input and provide additional input before we come back for budget adoption in June. Number 6, commission-initiated items. There is an item on our agenda every meeting for potential future agendas. If commissioners would like to propose future agenda items, they have the ability to do that. And then finally, public comment. These are public meetings that we have. Anyone can come to these meetings and ask a question on any CIP, and we're more than happy to answer it. I will say we have very low attendance at these meetings. We don't get a lot of call-ins, and we don't get a lot of people that walk in, but this is an opportunity for the public to come and provide input on the capital improvement program. That concludes my presentation. I'm happy to answer questions.
Any questions of staff? Yes, Councilman Francois.
Thank you. Thank you very much for that presentation. And I don't know if my questions might be related to the reason, part of the reason it was requested for this presentation, but there might have been some confusion with city management whether the Public Works Commission was able to provide recommendations to the City Council on various things. So, for example, traffic matters, stop signs, signals within the city. It was my understanding they were implemented without any input from the Public Works Commission. So going forward, do you need some guidance from the City Council, or does the Public Works Commission have the ability to bring forward those types of considerations to recommend to the City Council with regards to traffic matters?
I think it's fairly open, to be honest. I think the commission is there to serve at the will of the council. If there are items that council wants the commission to review, you can certainly refer that back to them, but there isn't a requirement that they need to review those items.
But for example, if you're getting a request for a stop sign or someone's complaining that a signal's needed, is it, and maybe the city manager could chime in for a second here, and it's not time sentences, do we have the ability of using the Public Works Commission for those purposes to come up with recommendations to us?
Yeah, if we got requests for a stop sign or some traffic issue, and it was something that the engineering would look at and see if it met the standards, that, or even if it was a wobbler, it met the standards and could use some sort of adjustment, then we would take that to the commission first before bringing it to council.
Great. That's great to know, because I think the more we can utilize our commissions for that, the better off we are. And then as far as CIP recommendations, the same thing goes. We can utilize our Public Works Commission to come forward with those recommendations for us ahead of time regarding the CIPs, correct?
They review the CIP at their meetings, and they can make recommendations to council for any adjustments. Of course, that would depend on council approving those adjustments.
Okay, no, that's really good. I'm hoping that we can go ahead with that. And then the other question would be, I'm assuming, I just want to confirm that the commissions can add, for example, a future agenda item on their commission agenda if to agree to it, similar to the way we do. Is that also as long as it's within the purview of Public Works Commission, is that something that,
It is, in my experience, it's a fine line. Council can say whether they're getting too many things from a commission or not enough, if they want them to generate any ideas. Generally, commissions will come up with a work plan or areas that they want to focus on and maybe bring suggestions, recommendations to the council on. And so you can see that ahead of time. So it's flexible.
right, okay.
I don't think you want commissions bringing a whole bunch of stuff to you that you haven't vetted ahead of time or thought of or think this is something in the community interest.
Right, okay. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Or I should add that spends a lot of money that we don't have.
Any other questions of staff? Yes, Councilman Jackson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Joe, for the presentation. Do you know why the move was to go from 12 meetings a year to 6? Any idea? I know you weren't around at the time. I'm just curious as to why, because I mean, Public Works is obviously a very
I
important
can't
commission.
speak firsthand to it, only from reading staff reports from that time and looking at what the agenda is and the meeting cancellations. My understanding was this was a request across all commissions citywide, but I don't want to guess on the rationale that went behind it.
Okay.
Since we are at 6 meetings a year now, is that correct? Is there enough for that commission to do now, or should it be even less, or in your opinion, what do you, I mean, is it busy? Do they have enough to make an agenda every month?
Right.
You mentioned the fact that there's very little participation from the public and so on and so forth, and call-ins, and et cetera. So are they working? I mean, is there enough for them to do?
So the meetings agendas can be light. I'll say the last couple months they've been heavier. And I think in the last couple council meetings, we've gotten requests for additional items to send back to the commission. So I'd say just in the last couple months, we've gotten more requests from council for future agenda items to route through the commissions and back to city council. In the 4 years that I've been here, I believe that we've only canceled 1 or 2 meetings, either for lack of quorum or for nothing on the agenda, or both reasons. There have been a couple times we've requested special meetings and added additional meetings in where needed. But in general, the commission agendas are fairly light, but it does ebb and flow.
How deep a dive do you do on your monthly CIP reports? Or every 2 months, I guess is.
So the staff, as I said, we provide the CIP status sheet. We provide the tentative schedule, which is updated all those meetings. Staff provides a presentation, highlights all the major changes, and we go by phase of things that are either in planning, in construction, upcoming construction, or going to be bid out. Commission then has the opportunity to ask questions about any and all of those projects.
So they talk about on time, on budget, sequencing.
We are always giving updates on those. So they have the ability to ask those questions, and staff is working hard to deliver the projects.
And you made the point about the commission being busier, and I think that's a result of how much busier you guys have gotten in large part because of more we're putting on you, right? So you want to get something done, ask a busy person. So I see that increasing as opposed to decreasing. Part of my concern has been, and we've had this discussion, is with sequencing and coordination. When there's, we got Parks and Rec that meets once a month. Mm-hmm. We've got Public Works that meets every 2 months. To me, there's a disconnect there. And we've seen in terms of project rollouts where there was no coordination. And I for one, am a fan of a deeper dive. Would that be, if there were support to go to once a month, is that something that Public Works and staff could accommodate? I mean, if nothing else, the deeper dive on the CIP in terms of on time, on budget, fleshing out issues, do we need to get council involved? Potential legal issues. Maybe we want to look to reprioritize. We want to move, with all those recommendations that could be made from maybe we need to coordinate with Parks and Rec. So if the will of council was to go from 6 to 12 where it was, because of how much more you all are doing now, is that something that staff could support, you think?
So I'm going to be very frank. Our department is slammed. Doubling the meetings will impact delivery of projects. And I'm going to be very clear about that. It is hard to staff these meetings with Public Works staff, prepare agendas, and get everything moving along. We've been focused on CIP delivery in the last 2 years. We've more than tripled the completion rate. And I know that the discussion is about getting things on time and on budget, but we've also come to council, asked for resources, which you've graciously given us the tools that we need to actually get the job done right, and we're getting projects done. So what I always ask is patience from everyone. If you want on time and on budget, let us do our job and get the projects done. And I think that's what we're achieving. I'm proud of what our team's done in the last 2 years. We've gotten a lot completed, and we got a lot more to do. And we are focused on delivery right now. And so if delivery and on time and on budget is the focus, I don't think more meetings is going to achieve that. If coordination with other commissions or the public is what's desired, we can certainly bring items that get flagged by commission or council to other commissions or have public meetings. And I'm all for engagement in making sure that we're working on coordinating these items. I have no problem going to a Parks Commission meeting or having a public meeting if we need to get more input on things. We work pretty hard to get the word out on projects that are in process. But once again, it comes down to what are the goals of City Council? What would you like to see us improve on? And what can we do with the limited hours that we have to continue to get projects done? But also use the great input that we have from the commissions that are available to us. And I think right now they are there. They are a good resource. We do get good input from the commissions when we have those meetings. As we give updates, we get questions and things that we follow up on at those subsequent meetings. So I think some of that is happening.
Question?
No, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thank you for that response. Should have just thrown off for a second. It'll come back to me.
Do you want to let it go for a moment?
Yeah, I'll let it go
Okay.
for a moment.
All right,
Thank
we
you.
can come back to it.
Old
Any other
age.
questions? Go ahead. Keegan?
So one thing I want to ask you is the flow rate of 6 meetings a year slowing you down at all because you have to wait? Is the commission slowing your progress down? That's my question to you. Because originally the commission was developed in 2000 because the department wasn't moving things forward. And so the commission was developed to try and help speed things up and also to make sure that someone was kind of keeping an eye on budgets and times and flow, and someone was interested in the project, because I think prior to that there was no interest in anyone pursuing more public works. And so I don't want to know, is this helping you or is it the biggest hindrance to your job?
I think there are benefits from the commission, but there is staff and time that goes into running these meetings. So yes, it does pull away when we have slow months, when there's not a lot on the agenda. There is a lot of staff time that goes into the preparation and holding that meeting after hours. So any time that goes to that pulls us away from other duties, yes. But there is good input that comes from it by having those check-ins. Commissioners do provide valuable input on those projects and give us another public forum. But it's a balance. I think I would caution against more, but there are times where we have light agendas.
So you'd call more meetings if you thought you needed more?
I think so, and we've done that in the past. When we brought the payment moratorium forward, we called a special meeting, and we pulled together commission. We got great feedback from them, and they helped us workshop that ordinance before we brought it to City Council for Council's consideration. And so it was a very helpful exercise to bring it there before.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Joe, would it be of any advantage? Would it be of any advantage for the commission to meet quarterly and then have special meetings when necessary? If the timing was right that you needed a special meeting, have a special meeting, but other than that, just meet quarterly instead of 6 times a year.
I would be.
Is that an advantage? You were just saying this, you guys are slammed and.
I would be completely open to that.
You would be.
It might create issues, though, in coordinating with other departments. And in coordinating, if for instance, the Little League project, right? We have that before the Parks Commission and we have it before the Public Works Commission. And so if they met quarterly, it might be such a gap in time between the two that it's not really worth doing. They generally try and coordinate. If there's not enough on an agenda, we'll cancel the meeting.
Yeah.
So far, it's working.
That's true. In the other item that does fill it up a lot is tree hearings, so I would have to.
And we have a big need for that right now.
Whether that has, I defer to probably city attorney or city manager, does that need to be can a hearing occur at a special meeting, or does it have to be at a regularly scheduled meeting if we do a tree hearing? Because those can be time sensitive, and sometimes we do have to wait a month or two for those to get onto the agenda.
Sounds like we should keep it at 6.
Well, something to remember is that
I believe you can hold a public hearing at a special meeting. So calling a special meeting, and it's just been my experience that, if I may, calling a special meeting is a lot easier than canceling a meeting. We do get a lot of pushback from members of the community when meetings are canceled, even if they're pre-scheduled to be dark, which is the primary reason why City Council adopts a resolution setting their calendar meeting dates for the following year. So that those dark meetings are pre-scheduled and voted on. And I just wanted to just add to Joe's point about the amount of time that it does take for a meeting to prepare for a meeting, have the meeting, and then all the post-meeting duties. I am working on a commission handbook for the commission liaisons specifically, and it is thorough. Everything that we do on the council level is exactly what they do at their commission level, but at a smaller scale.
Right.
So you could look at the total staff time with every staff member that touches a commission meeting. It can range from 15 to 25 hours at a minimum, with everyone that touches those staff reports, for the personnel that's staffing the meetings, and all the post-meeting items that have to happen. That includes trimming the video, timestamps, adding captions to eScribe, working on minutes. It's a lot. It's a heavy, and I just mentioned this because City Clerk's office does work with all the commissions to assist and support them. So we know that it's been a burden for a lot of the departments.
Well, that's why I asked about if it would be of advantage to go to quarterly meetings. And I understand, I'm not interested in not doing that. I mean, shortening their schedule. I just was asking in response to what you said about your guys are slammed and staff time is difficult, and it's a lot of effort to put into there, especially if it's a light agenda and there's a tree problem or something that's just one item or two items, to spend that amount of staff effort on that. So, I'm not suggesting that we do that, but I thought if there's some support for that, maybe we should consider it at least, or at least for the time being until the demand for that commission increases. I don't know, just throwing that out there. So, okay, any other questions of staff?
Yep.
Yes, go
my
ahead.
old age memory kicked back in. Appreciate your indulgence. You mentioned the CIP mid-year review, and it comes to us and then it goes to the commission. Should it go the other way? The deep dive with the commission, fleshing out of issues and questions and public participation. And so then when it comes to us, a lot of those questions have been asked and answered, and it's finely tuned by the time it gets to us. Does that make sense? It seems like we're doing it
Thank you,
backwards
Councilmember
now.
Josh. It's a great question, and it's one that I've pondered. However, the biggest impediment is that we don't have the budget numbers in time to be able to pull a meeting off before the April study session, and that's been the challenge. Once we get through mid-year, we're quickly working on to get numbers finalized. We're working in tandem with the Administrative Services Department to get the numbers to figure out what we have available so that we can even start to think about what we can program for the next year. There's a lot of work that goes in that month and a half leading up to the April study session. We are very busy. It's almost pens down on projects. A lot of the engineering team shifts into budget preparation because the CIP, it takes a long time to pull everything together and figure out where we are and what we can afford and what needs to be on the list. So when we get it ready for you in April, we're barely meeting that deadline.
So sequencing a Public Works Commission meeting prior to that April is a Herculean task that you're not ready for at this. It doesn't make, you just couldn't do it.
We can barely make the April deadline.
Got it. Okay. I appreciate that candor.
Yep.
Yes, please.
So I understood what you just said about the budget numbers. However, could there be a sounding board for priorities of the projects independent of budget numbers or the, because there are some times where, you give us the personnel hours and one's 100 hours and one's the other 100 hours and one gets pushed out a year. And we're like, why do they do that? I don't know. It chose it that way. But is there any way, I know that some of them are grant funded and those are very strict timelines. And if we're trying to make it too complicated, then you can tell me that, but.
The sequencing that we come up with is a ton of work. I can't tell you how many hours we put in to do that, but it's a good planning tool that we do to put in it. But it is something that it all culminates together as we get the numbers because we also don't know what we can afford. So, we got a long wish list. I have a very long list of unfunded projects that are in the 5-year CIP. There are surprises that happen along the year. There are things that even staff inserts through that. There could possibly be some way that we workshop before that, but it's not going to be a final list. I think there's a lot of magic that happens in March and April leading up to the study session.
Okay. That question, I'm going to speak past you to a few of the commissioners in the audience. When they give public comment, if they give public comment is, do you feel that 6 meetings is enough and prepared? And, how do you feel as a commissioner? Do you recommend any changes for us, as we have this conversation? Because I don't want to be from a top down. I want it from you all are sitting in the seats. So want to hear your suggestions. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Council questions are over. Let's move on to public comment. Thank you, Joe. Appreciate.
David Grathan, Public Works Commission. This has been a pretty good wide range of questions and things that have been discussed. I think Joe did a pretty good job of conveying a lot of things that I think a lot of the commissioners would agree with in terms of the workload and our effectiveness and what's the right number of meetings and particularly what the workload is on staff. I think the existence of the commission is a good thing. Besides the commissioners themselves, I think just that there is an opportunity for the public to have a venue to come forward about items is very important in theory. In practice, a lot of people don't show up, so I don't know about that. Also, in terms of how could we be more effective, we have the opportunity to do a deeper dive in this venue than you might sometimes. The thing is that if none of the council members have the opportunity or the interest in watching any of our meetings, then I don't know how much of that really helps us to help you. So respectfully, I'm saying that. As far as the number of meetings go, the idea of having special meetings for like special projects or time urgent matters or tree requests, that is something we need in our hip pocket. I think we're all really sensitive to the workload on staff. When we talked about future agenda items, we have the opportunity to bring those. I, for one, and I sense my colleagues as well, I don't know if we've ever actually called for a future agenda item probably because we are so sensitive to the workload just to get everything done. So I think as a body, we all understand that. Just kind of riffing a little off. You know, different commissioners have different ways that I think they operate and how much effort they want to put into it and how proactive they want to be. There are opportunities for commissioners to do things individually or to interact offline versus in meetings. So sometimes we may look things over and just contact staff directly and raise issues that, you know, that there can be some things that are happening in the background that perhaps are performing a service that you're not aware of. And in fact, sometimes it's a good idea to go to staff first because, you know, if we're unfounded in what we're bringing up, you know, we don't want to cause false alarms. Anyway, we're here to serve at your pleasure in any way. And we are respectful of the burden that it puts on staff. I think quarterly might not be good enough. The centerpiece of the meeting is that CIP report that you guys get every month. And I think we should be able to review that probably every 2 months.
Thank you, David.
I wasn't really sure if I was going to get up and speak. I think the every other month is right. If we have to cancel a meeting, we cancel a meeting. We've done it before. We've had special meetings before. I think there's a little bit of a disconnect between what you guys want from us and what we're providing. And I think that if that's going to be resolved, you'd have to do some type of committee or something where maybe it's a subcommittee, but maybe it's, you know, 2 council members, 2 public works commissioners, and maybe even Parks and Rec. Because it's going to be, you really need to sit down and talk about what does the CIP report look like, what's useful, what's not, and just in this kind of forum, you're never going to resolve that. I think that there have been issues of coordination of projects between commissions and council. I might have spoken about that once or twice. I think when those issues come up, that needs to be pushed down from the council to the commissions. I don't think it's the commission's position to say, hey, you know, we've got, we're looking at pickleball. We need to send this up to council to take a harder look, or we need to send it need to have a special meeting with Parks and Rec. You know, we're looking at it from our standpoint. Yes, it does need to be coordinated, but that direction needs to come from the top, not from the bottom. As far as working on the sequencing of projects, that also ultimately needs to come from council. I don't know if you guys watched the last Public Works Commission meeting when Little League was in here, and that was, you know, essentially Little League came in and said, we want you to do things out of order. We want you to start doing working on Clark Field. And my big push was, yeah, I'd love to take your money and spend it on stuff that the city should be spending it on, but the 25-26 CIP plan is already been cast, and we should not change that mid-year unless council wants to change it. If you guys want to change it, that's fine. So my recommendation was to not. So anyway, my point is 6 meetings seems fine. I think that if you guys want to push more down to us, that's great. It sounds like there's a few things that are coming our way. But I do think that there is a disconnect between what you guys are looking for from us and what we're actually doing. And we should probably figure out a way to resolve that. Thanks.
Mayor, we do not have any virtual hands raised on Zoom.
Okay, thank you. So I'll close the public comment, bring it back to council. Do we have a motion, deliberation, comments?
Make a motion for staff recommendation to receive and file.
Second.
I'll make a substitute motion that we appoint the mayor and Councilmember Jackson to work with 2 members of the Public Works Commission to talk about this and figure out roles and responsibilities as a former Public Works Commissioner yourself, and as someone who has brought this up many times about on-time delivery and on budget, so.
Well, that's a substitute motion or a friendly amendment?
Substitute motion.
Substitute motion. Is there a second for the substitute?
I'll second that, Mr. Mayor.
All right, so we vote on the substitute motion first?
There's the only one we're voting on.
Yes, you vote on the substitute and
The other
if
one
it
goes?
passes, then it's done.
Yeah.
I just have a
I read Roberts.
question. What is your intention of putting typically we have a subcommittee that's formed that comes back to the city council with a recommendation. So is that your intention of the subcommittee, Councilmember Detoy?
I think as Madam City Clerk mentioned, she's working on this handbook and roles and responsibilities, and I don't know, I know what the director said about how much time it is, and it is so nice when the Parks, Recreation, Community Resources Committee hears all the level 1 and 2 events or 3 events, whatever levels they are, and gets those cadence out. I mean, they still come to our level, and volleyball in July is a prime example of that. But they get through and they do a great deep dive into making our jobs a lot easier. And I think there's a lot of really, really dedicated folks on the Public Works Commission. And I don't know, I would love to see how we develop that role into something, just formalize their roles and responsibilities. And it is such a massive part of our budget. And I think just getting a deeper dive into either the reporting or whatever they need to tweak is important.
So I guess, Councilmember Detoy, you would be recommending this as a future agenda item for the city council because it's not on our agenda tonight. So you are recommending we put this as a future agenda item to form an ad hoc subcommittee. Is that what you're?
Well, the agenda item is to request the review of the Public Works Commission process for oversight and input on the CIP. And I will have the city attorney, I think that's pretty broad. And one of the outcomes, just because it's not staff's recommendation, could be we'd establish a subcommittee to work with the commissioners and.
I would concur with that. I think there's enough notice for you to make that kind of determination.
And if nothing comes out of it, nothing comes out of it. It doesn't need to be staff heavy. I'm
Is
not
that
trying to
subcommittee
impact.
going to come back with a recommendation to this city council? Is that the idea?
If it's a formal thing that something the roles and responsibilities need to change, then yes. If it's just input for Madam City Clerk or some minor processy improvement to the way that we report on projects, I know that our PDF that we receive is different than what the cities display on their website when it comes to our CIPs and, the GIS side of it. And so what is the best way to even get the reports out is the current Excel spreadsheet that we get enough oversight? Should that get tweaked?
Yeah, I'm with you there. I know that the CIP process that we've been going through can be fine-tuned and much improved.
And they're doing a great job, by the way. This is not
right.
saying that Joe's team is doing a bad job.
It's a difficult job to get through. Council keeps changing. We've had, staff changes, but the last time around, we had a different city attorney, and we voted on every little thing. And the time before, we just kind of got a consensus of the feeling of whether there was a majority that did something or not. So I guess if we could tie that into the CIP process and trying to figure out a better way to structure it using the Public Works Commission, I think that would be a great improvement if we could get somewhere with that. So,
All right.
Thank you.
Shall we call the question on the substitute motion first?
Yes, and I have Councilmember Keegan as a second. Is that correct?
No.
Oh, no. Okay, I'm sorry, Councilmember Jackson. Okay, voting is now open.
What is wrong with this thing?
Sorry, that should say to discuss the role of the Public Works Commission.
Jesus. Really?
Councilmember Francois?
Yeah, trying to get this thing to work here.
Motion carries with Mayor Seaman voting no.
Well, it passed, so, okay. And now, so the original motion.
Well, the original motion is no longer, it's
That's
moot.
it.
It's
Okay,
moot
good.
because
All right.
the substitute
Very
takes its
good.
place.
Moot, all right.
Okay, thank you. On to number 14, future agenda items. Tentative future agenda items? Any questions or comments?
I have a question on one, if I may.
Go right ahead.
I noticed that the historic landmark issues listed as a future agenda item, but previously or since then, we've received information from staff that the owner of the historical landmark, the owner of the property that's on the list is obliged to do an environmental review whether it was on the list or not, which is what I originally had thought. So does that mean do we still need that on a future agenda item, or can that be taken off?
In staff's opinion, it can be taken off.
Okay, that's what I thought. Well, I'd go along with removing that as a future agenda item.
What? Did you say we can take it off the future agenda item? No, we can't do that.
I was asked to whether I thought it was a good idea or not. It's a moot point. The answer, and this was provided by the city attorney, was that yes, the city can move to take it off its list, from the city's list, but it cannot take it off from the need to follow CEQA, which requires a review of historical assessment. And so under CEQA, it needs to do a historical assessment, which was what it would need to be done under our code as well. So it seems to be no purpose to keep it on under future agenda items if they have to do it under CEQA anyway.
So what you mean by CEQA is all buildings would have to do that anyway?
I believe of a certain age.
Only buildings that are on the list,
I'll defer to the city attorney.
on the potential list.
Well, what was before the council was a request to take this building off of a list. Okay, that was what was in front of you. The underlying purpose was maybe they had a theory that if they took it off the list, they would be able to make improvements or do remodel or whatever and not have to go through the CEQA process because it wasn't on the list. That is not our interpretation. You can take it, you can keep it on the list, or you can take it off the list. But because there is the potential designation that has happened, some sort of review under CEQA would happen if they do remodeling, because you have to make some sort of determination under CEQA that it is a historic facility or not. And so regardless of whether it's on the list or not, that is still an outstanding question. Does that make sense?
One question, had it not been on the list, would they have needed that same environmental
I'm
review?
sorry?
Had it not been on that list, would that building have required a CEQA?
That's another question. It depends on what they're doing, but the fact of the matter is once that was put in a potential situation, okay, you have some sort of determination has to be made because it was earmarked as a potential.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Any potential, whether it's on the list or not, any potential would be
Correct.
subject to that. So I think it's a moot point.
But that's our interpretation now. Yes.
Yes, Councilman Jackson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. City Attorney, could we push this to Public Works for consideration review? I'm sorry, not Public Works, Planning Commission.
Well, you can have the Planning Commission look at it, but you're still,
Never gonna get them off.
you're going to have to address
The underlying issue.
the underlying issue, which is a secret determination, and that's not, they can do the legwork and do the work, whatever, but it still has to come back for you for the final.
But you just said, in theory, the council could remove this from the list at a future.
Sure, you can
Right.
remove it from the list. You put it on the list so the council can remove it from the list. But
Right.
if the owner comes before you and wants to do some remodeling, whatever, you're still going to have to answer that designation question.
Right.
So they have to go
do it.
back,
The
there's a
sequence.
process they have to go through.
But there's a designation that no longer exists because it's not a potential anymore if it's removed from the list.
You're just removed from the list, but you would have to have some sort of determination that you're saying this is not a historic building.
Right, so my point is, could planning make said determination?
Planning could,
Because there was no.
planning could make a recommendation for you, yes.
Right, they can make a recommendation for us to then determine yes or no. Because there was nothing that said it was a potential. So based on its potentiality, I guess, is that a word? It was put on this list. But you're saying,
I'm saying if the council were to make that determination and not follow the normal secret process, you would open yourself up to
so
challenge.
is a normal CEQA process based on potential? Is that what you're saying? Because council put it on, there was nothing that said they had to put this building on there based on anything.
Way back when it happened, that's correct.
Right, this is a potential, so based on that, it's on a list.
Mr. Mayor.
Just like
Yes, well,
any
hold it.
potential.
Excuse me.
Mr. Mayor.
Councilor Detoy.
Because of this conversation, I think we should just leave this agenda on here.
I have to agree with that because I think we've been through this already and you've already given your opinion on the legality of it. And it's my understanding that what you've said is correct, that whether we put it on the list or take it off the list, it still has to go through CEQA. And that means it has to go through that process.
No, they want to remodel it.
Yeah, if they want to remodel,
Yes. It would
Yes.
have to, that's right.
that's our interpretation.
I've done a little bit of research into
You're
this.
agreeing with my motion then to take it off.
And what is
Well,
your
it's
reason?
already off. It's not on.
No, it's on next month. I made the motion to take it off. It's on next month's future agenda.
It should be off.
Okay. You
It's-
agree? Okay.
It's the tentative agenda.
Correct.
All right, he did already.
1, 2, 3.
Excuse me. What?
That's on there, I saw it.
No, I think it should be on there.
Should be on there. Well,
What do you?
so there's a
But
motion.
so
Is there a
there was one motion to take it off the future agenda, so you need to, is there a second to that motion?
Oh, I thought you
I
seconded.
have a second. No, I didn't.
So then that fails, it stays on.
Stays on, okay.
All right. Any other future agenda items? Yes,
Just
Councilman
a
Jackson.
quickie, Mr. Mayor. Mr. City Attorney, I know there've been some changes with regard to our homeless program based on funding, lack of funding. Is there any way at some point when staff time permits, we can get an update on as to where we are with our current program and funding, and can we also talk about car camping, which seems to be more pervasive than ever, what I've heard from community members.
Right, we can bring in update at the next council meeting under future agenda items, and that will include what we're doing right now. We're transitioning from our previous provider to a new group, but the contracts or the funding, there was some issue at the COG, so it's going to be 2 weeks before.
If you can't do it by next meeting, that's fine, but
If they're not here by the next meeting, yes, but we can have a report for you on what's our next steps are.
Okay, and if there's a way we can wrap in, because I know we talked about our anti-camping ordinance, but I know there's been some challenges throughout the city with car camping. I've gotten some reports from residents, so if there's support to add that into that update, I'd appreciate that.
In terms of, sorry, Councilmember, in terms of.
What are we doing? What can we do?
What are we doing?
What can't
we're
we
doing.
do?
Okay. numbers as well for identified?
I mean, we know the usual suspects, but I think as winter approaches, we've gotten, I've seen a couple new folks on the reservation, so.
Okay.
Thank you.
And you need support for that?
Yes, sir.
Yes, I'll support that.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Mr. City Manager.
Anything else? Any future agenda items anymore? No, seeing none, we'll go on to the city manager's report.
Thank you, Your Honor. Just a couple things tonight. The young man who just spoke to you earlier, to my left here, not a new face to council, maybe a slightly new face to the community, though. Todd Leishman from Best and Krieger, our previous interim city attorney, has gone to do other things, and in his place, we've got Jason Baltimore here, who has served us for the last 2 meetings and will continue on as interim city attorney from Best and Krieger, and he's certainly hit the ground running. We've thrown lots of things at him. He's been very timely. He's worked with staff. He's made contact with all our department heads to check on their needs and what the best delivery method is for legal services, and we appreciate that. So welcome, Jason. In addition to that, want to mention that we have senior homeowner rebates. A reminder that eligible Hermosa homeowners may qualify for property tax rebates on sewer and street lighting and landscaping charges. For more information on requirements, including age, disability, income, and residency, please visit the city's website. Applications are due October 13th of 2025. And if he's still watching, we want to wish our Chief Phillips a very happy birthday. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Information items, we have none, and then that brings us to adjournment. Tonight's meeting is adjourned at 9:37. Thank you. Good night.